On this episode of Task Force Geek, we talk finally about Brandon Sanderson's bank-busting Kickstarter. We talk about the new Thor Love and Thunder teaser trailer. What the heck is happening with Doctor Who? We're going to catch up on that. And news on Ultraman and Toho, and probably Star Blazers and Jets since we have Steve on. And that's all coming up now. Welcome to Task Force Geek. My name is Dirk Cooper, and I just made up a joke, okay?
Uh-oh.
What's the difference between a bucket and a canister? Tails comparison.
I see what you did there.
I like that.
That's the way the show's going tonight, folks. That is, we're bringing comedy.
This is the moment where I just realized my life force just instantly drained out of my body.
Yeah, I'm not a dad, but that is definitely a dad joke.
Holy moly.
That came to me about 45 minutes ago. I thought
should have left it 45 minutes in the past.
I had to bring it to the people.
Had to share that with your peeps.
That's right. So in case you don't already know, here's our crew for tonight. We got Walt.
Word.
Walt had a very loud microphone and then decided not to.
I'm serious. I mean, the first second you laid into it, I was like, oh God, turn that down.
It was, he was booming. What
awesome.
is that shirt, man?
Oh, hey, this is, I got this off of Ripped Apparel a couple of years ago. It is a combination of Godzilla and Grimlock.
Holy cats.
Which, by the way, that needs to be a real thing.
It needs to be a real thing.
Ooh,
it does.
Cool.
It does need to be a real thing.
That is super cool. All right. And also, we got Steve.
Yay.
It's
Hello,
Steve
Geekland.
handing out Shankies.
That's a very elusive hat you've got on your head there.
It is extremely elusive. Can you see
Did
it?
you say elusive? Oh, yes, it is an elusive
Yeah, it
hat.
does. Yeah.
Can you see
Holy
it?
cats. Is it what how much swag did you get from those
Dude,
guys?
I told Nick that night that it's an immediate that was an immediate purchase.
You could be their biggest fan.
For the right reasons.
I mean,
I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I'm looking forward to my opportunity.
Dude, people need to know that Steve, when he's not actively on the show, if he's watching the show and someone has a Kickstarter, Steve or Sean are pretty good about backing guests. I mean, you're going to get probably, unless your stuff is just really lousy, you're probably going to get a couple of bids. You're going to get at least a couple of bids on your stuff. I mean, it's worth it to you to come on the show just to get the couple of bids from Steve and Sean.
Hey, but bottom line, it's worth it just to come on the show, period.
It certainly is. We've put people over the top on several occasions.
If they're not over the top already.
So to speak. We're over the top and we put people on the top. That's what we do. All right. And we also have Mike. He's returning to us. Madman Mike.
Yay.
What do you got on the wall back there, man?
These they came with the apartment. They're like the standard, stereotypical hotel paintings of objects. They're terrible.
That's funny.
Looking at it from behind me, it's kind of eerie.
Because I thought this does not look like typical Mike stuff that I would expect to see. I would expect to see maybe some comic pages signed by artists.
I should have brought some stuff
work.
in. Yeah, most of my work's right now has been pretty tame. I'm working with my students because we're getting close to the last month of the school year. We're working on atmospheric perspective. So we're doing the one style of art I'm not particularly doing, which is landscapes. So I'm actually doing a landscape piece with my classes. So, but it's all ink wash. So
Are you channeling your inner Bob? You channeling your inner Bob Ross?
I am all happy trees right now. They are happy trees.
I've been getting into landscapes lately because I want them for illustrations and for comics. And I know that I got to kind of bring that up to another level. And so I've been kind of looking at people who do like landscapes for like video games or for animation, like animate, background animators and stuff. I've been looking at sort of that. It's a skill unto itself. So, I'm looking around for that sort of stuff.
My first job at an art school was doing that for an animated TV show digitally, like the very early parts of digital illustration. That's and nice. I probably made like 3 or 4 backgrounds, and then the company folded.
Wow. Nice.
Oops.
Yeah. Or actually, I shouldn't say the company folded. They dropped the project.
Wow. Mm. All right. Well, let me get to some comments here. Ashell I should maybe quit my day job here. She's not a fan of my joking.
Hey, it's a good dad joke.
I mean, come on, Ashell.
I made it myself.
Quality. That was actually pretty quality.
That's right. She's very quality. You're just previewing your new written collection, man.
That's right.
Oh, good evening.
Ashell says good evening. Hello. Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Okay, Ashell, actually, in
Ronnie
the comments.
Is here.
What?
Hey, Ronnie.
Ronnie is here because I have already told him what our feature presentation is. That we kicked the feature presentation down 2 episodes. And so now it's the feature presentation. We're not kicking it any. Unless it's struck by lightning, we're going to talk about this subject. And that's why Ronnie is here to give us his insight into enjoy the discussion.
I need Ashell to put in the comments her current tattoo count.
Wow.
Because
she might need an
almost weekly now.
Something.
Yeah, because according to Facebook, she gets a new one every 48 hours.
Yeah, it seems like doesn't it? But she's keeping to the theme, guys. It's all Disney.
Truth.
This is true.
There is a similar theme there going on there.
If you can't be a peasant, if you can't be a princess, wear a princess. Wait,
Ronnie.
Whoa, hey, hang on.
Wait a minute.
That's kind of Hannibal. That was kind of Hannibal Lecter-ish.
That sounds like what is it, Buffalo Bill from?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ashell.
Good times.
Sorry.
Ronnie says howdy ho, and then Ashell says apartment come decorated to Mike.
Some come
horribly.
Some come with furniture,
and they're painted to the wall. They'll not come off without a pry bar.
Oh dear.
Really?
Yeah.
So you better like those or else.
Get something and cover them up with better art next time. Yeah, when I was in my office at work, you guys you had that jam piece by Jason Pearson, Joe Jusko, Tony Benitez, I forgot his first name.
Joe.
And Mark Texiera did a jam piece on a photo I took of them at a bar.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It was a fun night. It was interesting because it was before Joe got married again. And so Joe was hitting on a wedding party at the bar that night.
Of course he was.
Of course he was.
I think I've heard that story from Sean.
Yeah, I think
Sean has told that
Sean
story.
Was there that night.
So I've heard like that story from a couple different directions, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. It was a really fun night.
She's up to 28 tattoos. And she's
wow.
Go
and 2 more.
She's going for 30 on Friday. So
how
there's
funny.
That.
She's going for the Maleficent wings on her back on Friday.
That's right.
That'd be cool.
Ronnie says, I told the barber I wanted my hair like Dirk's, but he said he can't get the part that wide. Ronnie will be here all week.
Is it this wide, Ronnie?
Oh, my gosh.
Ronnie will be here all week. All right, it's time for housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping?
Not now.
I got a few things to cover tonight. Our guest that was supposed to be here is not here.
Oh.
He may come later, not tonight, but he may come at another time. I hope he does. His what he's working on is really cool. I'm not sure what happened to him, but that's okay. Instead, we're just going to have fun tonight. Next week, we had Marcus Pattern, who was with us about 2 months ago. It was a great guest. He wanted to get back on the show, and we wanted to have him. So he's going to be on again. And we're going to have a guest that we had late last year, Mark Mulgrave. He is also returning because he has a project that he wants to talk about. and he's bringing his partner along. So we got 3 creators next week, and I may just invite a bunch of contributors too. We'll just have a little party.
Very cool.
It's going to be a festival of badassery.
Oh, I'm going to make a note of that. That's another shirt.
Good, we're going to talk about that here in just a second.
Festival of Badassery.
Festival of Badassery.
The week after that, or the week after that, we will celebrate our anniversary, because tonight, I got a notification from YouTube that this is our 3rd anniversary right here.
What?
All right.
This is actually birthday tonight.
Oh my gosh.
How
Wow.
about that?
3-0, it's a magic number.
How about that?
Yeah, it is.
So happy birthday to us. And what I want to do is get,
Hat trick.
the contributors together for an episode, and then also maybe invite a few of our select people that we've had over the last year, maybe see if we can get them back, and anyone else who wants. I mean, it's getting that thing coordinated is kind of a mess, but it is a lot of fun. It's a fun episode when we can get quite a few people to show up on these things. So that's my thought. All the contributors will be invited, and then we'll try to get a few more of our guests, maybe Mark Mulgrave and Marcus Pattern, and some of our other guys that we've had on.
Hey,
here
get the elusive guys.
We can invite them back.
Ooh, there you go.
Give everyone 5 or 10 minutes to kind of catch up on what's going on, and just celebrate the stuff. Anyway, that will be maybe that next week or the week after. And then basically for May, we are wide open. So if you are interested in being a guest on Task Force Geek almost every Tuesday in May, and we can move some stuff around because I can do that anniversary show anytime. So if you have something that you want to talk about, you got a project, you got a Kickstarter, you got a movie that's about to premiere, or whatever, get on here, please, and get in touch with me you can see my address right down below, taskforcegeek@gmail.com. Get in touch with me, and we'll get you signed up. We have all of May available. Please tell your friends. All right. Next up, these 2 guys right here, Steve. Let's see if I can do it in the right direction. Steve and Walt are working on our deal for T-shirts.
Yeah. to which we just added another.
You did?
Festival of Badassery.
Oh,
That's right.
There's the link to it. taskforce-geek.creator-spring.com. You can get the shirts that you see there, and you can tell them what else they can get, guys.
You can get the Spicy King. We finally got Spicy King up there. So
Yay.
we got the Spicy King, which is Scott Prime, regular contributor, bothdown.com.
Walt did the illustration for that. It's awesome.
We have all the new swag, the new logo swag, and then we've also got some retro line stuff with the old ray gun shield, which I love so much.
Yeah, I love that.
He
I love
did
the
a
ray gun
distress. He did a distress version of that. It looks really cool. I think I'm going to order one of those here over the. I mean, I've been kind of waiting to get a little money.
Got some throwdown stuff with the.
I'm going to be ordering one of those here pretty soon.
Also, virtual racing.
Yes.
We got racing shirts.
Yeah.
They got stuff on the front and the back.
Yeah.
Virtual racing.
We have racing theme, so we're working on some stuff.
For those
and Festival of Badassery. That's coming.
That's right. That's coming.
That's the deal right there if you want.
I may or may not, when you don't have the camera on me, I may or may not work on it tonight.
But like as we speak.
Did we ever get that Big Dirk energy?
I'm also working on that.
I'm working on a Hooper Friends.
I actually had to go back to work this week, so
you actually had to do some real work.
Yes, dang it! It interferes with everything.
Yep.
It's kind of a bummer, isn't it?
It is. It truly is.
You to do real work.
Well, if I could make a living on Task Force Geek, I would.
Yeah,
awesome.
Me too.
We're working on that.
Finally, let's all take a deep breath and listen to what I'm telling you, please.
Okay.
Let's get some likes and shares going on. If you are watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, dial that thing in and hit a like on it, please. If you are on Facebook, share this to your feed right now. This is the time, so that people who are friends of yours see that we have a live show going on. Because once you share it to your feed, that live show goes out live to everyone. Plus the likes and share. We love the comments. Comments are awesome, particularly on YouTube. They love the comments for sure. But if you share that stuff right now, it will go out and people will see that it's live, and they will hopefully come join us. That's what we want. So if you're watching, like the post. We have 5 people watching right now.
5.
We should have, 5 people that we can. Unfortunately, we don't get the update from either YouTube or from Twitter.
Well, that's still 9,995 short of who we had last week. So.
So please leave a like wherever you're at. I appreciate that. That's what I got. All right. Are you ready? We are finally, Mike is cracking up. We are finally going to get to the feature presentation we've talked about for 2 weeks. Here it comes.
Somebody scream. Oh.
Not breaking news, but still very interesting. The fantasy, Brandon Sanderson, the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Authors Project, which is funding the self-publication of 4 secret novels, topped the $20.3 million that the Pebble Times smartwatch raised in 2015 within just 3 days. So Sanderson beat the original Kickstarter winner, like all time, from 2015. He beat that in 3 days. After 30 days, Sanderson's campaign wrapped, and buoyed by his fervent fan base, he raised $41,754,000.
Jeez Louise.
Sanderson plans to release all 4 books next year, 3 of which are set in his Cosmere universe. His backers will receive them as ebooks, audiobooks, or physical editions based on their level of backing. The campaign rewards also include 8 boxes of swag that backers will receive throughout 2023.
Wow.
He's hooking you up.
He made enough money. He could do it.
As an aside, Brandon Sanderson has been approached by Elden Ring publisher Bandai Namco regarding a future collaboration. Speaking in a live stream earlier this week, Sanderson said he had received an Elden Ring package from the publisher, which included a cloak, sword, and other items based on the game, along with a note from Bandai Namco. Quote, they are interested in perhaps doing something together, is what that says. I am as well, actually. This is how I roll. This is Sanderson speaking. I actually have a pitch for them in the back of my head, so I may have to send them my pitch and see what they think. Sanderson said during the stream, a pitch for Soulsborne game has already been thought up, as he always has, quote, a pitch for everything, unquote.
Holy moly.
So it's very much blue skies for Brandon Sanderson right now. Things are looking up very much for him. Let's see what people say. Hey, there's Ken. Look at this. Hey, Ken. How you doing?
Hey, Ken.
Ronnie says that his friend at work spent the maximum the first 15 minutes in, which was $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay, so yeah, no.
I mean, look. When Steve is impressed with how much you spent on a Kickstarter, it's really something.
Holy moly.
All I can say is more money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money.
Hey,
more money.
You can spend all you want to on that Kickstarter, but you didn't get this
those.
cool hat.
Right. You're the only kid on your block with that.
And don't you forget it either.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not sure. Ken is off topic here. He says he hates owning a pool and hot tub right now. Dang chemicals.
Dang chemicals.
Yeah. Oh, wait till fall. Hope you don't have any trees nearby.
Right. Well, I know what he's talking about.
That kind of turned me sideways a little bit. All right.
So here's some questions for the panel, just in general about this thing. How does this situation with Brandon Sanderson look, his original bid, his original ask for Kickstarter was $1 million. He would have been, I'm sure, happy. All? I'm sure he would have been happy with $1 million. He got $40 million, which is insane for this thing. Mm-hmm. How does this change the publishing industry? Is this an isolated incident? Is Sanderson like the only guy on the planet that's going to be able to get this deal?
No, somebody else.
Does it trickle down? Or like the other, I mean, does it change the industry at all? And finally, has anyone here read his books? Is he the $40 million man for real?
Now I'm interested now.
Yeah, I've not read his stuff, but of course now this is possibly the best publicity aside from $42 million. You're already getting publicity for the project.
Think about the advantage of, I'll talk a minute about it. Think about the advantage of Kickstarter, which is, like I've said many times on here, when you sell something on Kickstarter, you're not selling it to a distributor who sells it to a store who sells it to the public. You are selling it directly to the reader. So now, not only does he, I mean, obviously you don't have to split the cost with anything. Whatever the cost is to produce the items, that's taken off the top. You have to ship the stuff. Everything else is gravy.
Yeah.
Everything else is gravy. Yeah. And in addition to that, he has created a mailing list of $40 million worth of backers.
Right.
That he can speak with
directly.
Every time that he comes out, he wants to come out with anything. He wants to come out with a video game. He wants to come out with a movie. He wants to do a television series. He wants to do another 4 series of books or something. What is, I don't know. What are some of the Dell books or, some of the other, what are they going to do to compete against that? Well, a lot of these book companies would love to have $40 million right now. That's more than they're going to be making. Some of these book companies won't be making $40 million here in the next year.
Let me help you out. There's any number of publications or publishing houses, Penguin Random House, that would kill to have a $40 million infusion practically overnight. And that's mind-blowing. It also kind of makes you think, well, how many already known authors are going to get on that?
Right.
Why
hasn't Stephen King done this?
Stephen King, J.K. Rowling.
Patterson.
Yeah. I mean, of course, J.K. Rowling's already got more money than God, but
she does. But what if she writes a sequel series to the Harry Potter books and she only offers it on Kickstarter? How much is that going to make?
I think that's a real possibility. I think that's a real possibility. If she teases a book and says, "If I get this much, here you go."
Yeah. Well, Hasbro is doing that with some of their toys coming out. The Mandalorian, his ship. It was all done crowdfunded. So, they've got a Transformers Unicron figure that was crowdfunded. Everything big that you're interested in, they've been doing them crowdfunding. So, I think very few. Some of these companies have gotten in on it and know that there's something there where they can go directly to the public and get the funding for the development and then mass market it.
Mike, what are you doing surgery?
I was about to say, I'm
looking for something in my backpack, and it's
I'm being entertained by the sounds coming from Mike's.
Mike is doing ASMR.
If I pull out a brain, will you guys be impressed? Mike going us a couple of different directions. I think Sanderson's great. He could be the next Elon Musk of a whole new category.
Right, exactly.
Because he marketed it well, and it was very successful.
Pull your camera down just a little bit. You're kind of at the bottom of the screen.
Here, I'll move.
There we go.
It's easier to do this.
There you go. That's good.
And he's a good salesman. He put together a good product. and obviously, it made the right noises and the right sounds to the right people. The problem, and you guys are talking about J.K. Rowling and all these jumping on the same ship. There's the caveat. This could also spring a new speculator market. So think of it that way. If you're not only a Stephen King fan, but you're a Harry Potter fan, and you're a Hasbro fan, man, I hope you have a really good job and you want all of it.
Sure.
Because it could in the long run be it could be a bubble. It could have a bubble in the market. And me being blind to, because I haven't done a Kickstarter yet.
Right.
And it's interesting to see this. I would love to just sit and look through all of his material and see the whole process.
Oh, I mean, he clearly,
what it was that worked.
He clearly knew how to do the campaign, and it is an art unto itself, knowing how to present this stuff and what to present and how to do the sales ladder, which is,
absolutely.
here's the low end stuff. But if you give us another $10, you get this. You give us another $100, you get this. If you give us $5,000, you get this. And so then you shake the trees with your super fans. So you have your regular fans, and then you have people like that can blow, like Ronnie's friend, $3,000 to $5,000 on stuff, and he's a big enough fan, and he has big enough pockets where he can make that happen. That's something that wouldn't exist otherwise. I mean, what you can spend $30 on a hardback book, but what is $30 next to spending $3,000 on something that no one else has?
Exactly.
And will never be offered again.
Yeah. Did you guys see the limited edition reissue of Dracula that Bram Stoker's great grandson put on Kickstarter? This is like maybe a little over a year ago.
No, it's actually connected to his family.
Yeah. So he did a re-release with notes from Stoker and a lot of stuff that the Stoker family had. Stuff. And they did a big box set that had maps and
pretty clever.
All of this. I mean, it was really impressive. And then that great big edition that got you all of this neat stuff. You got his autograph. He's Stoker. He's not Bram. But I mean, I think that could be part of the problem is which package do you want and what are you willing to do? There's a Bernie Wrightson book that was out on Kickstarter not too long ago that is a tribute book with a lot of artists contributed. And the same thing, there are different prints, and it can add up. I mean, it's a true fans thing. And then the thing is, you get the speculators are going to jump in on it too. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So that's where it forces that bubble.
I hear you, and you're right. If everyone moves toward it, you're absolutely right. There's going to be a certain there'll be a point where that kind of crests over, and people are going to be like, I'd rather just pay $20 for the the damn hardback book.
Yeah.
And it'll be another black and white implosion. And I think this one would be even worse, especially when named authors and artists decide to jump in on it. So if I'd had the extra cash, I'd have bought the Wrightson tribute book. There's some beautiful artwork in it. I think Hughes, I think J. Scott Campbell did a series of illustrations, and a lot of named artists and a lot of not so big name artists, but it's a beautiful presentation, and had the extra money, I'd gone all out and got all the prints, the big deluxe hardcover, all of it.
Sure.
I'd have been right there throwing my fanboy money up in the air and see who grabbed it and sent me stuff first. So that's the one thing. That's the one thing I can worry about with
this. I want to make sure that you can hear me before I put this comment up. Ronnie says $40 million. He is really good, but not as good as Shank's hat.
That's true. Yours is much more exclusive instead of elusive, or both, actually.
Oh, now we can't hear him.
Yeah.
Now I can't hear you, Steve.
You can't bleep
Let's put words in his mouth. Let's say
The
what he
bubbles
said.
on my latte are getting bigger every moment. What happened?
Is it true?
Grant says hello.
Hello, Grant. How you
Hi.
doing?
Ken says he worked. Sanderson worked on the Wheel of Time after Jordan. Yes, he did.
Okay. Yeah.
Damon says crowdfunding for a huge Sentinel from X-Men. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah, I do know about that.
Oh.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
It was a giant size Sentinel figure, and they crowdfunded that.
Microphone check. One.
Hasbro
That's
did it.
good. We got you. We got you, Steve.
Yay.
The 5-foot
Jeez.
assassin with the roughneck business.
Roger that.
You got your ears on.
Tim Forgood, buddy.
Shell says, Steve, you need to design the tank top with the blown up version of the retro stressed gun. Just like that one version of the shirt is blown up and takes up most of the front of the shirt. Oh, I think she wants it printed from cover to cover. It may not be possible to do that.
It does, but Shell, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure that there's an available design for that. I'll go back onto the site and make sure that I'm not lying. If it is, then obviously I'll make it available.
There you go. These are the guys to go to, folks. If you want certain T-shirts or something, you got the two guys right here. They're taking care of it.
Because unfortunately, we're designing the templates, so there's a certain amount of space, a live area that they're actually able to print. So if we can violate that, then we will.
Yeah. Although it's pretty permissive, you can do. You two have already done more than I was aware that you could do. Like you're printing stuff on front and back, and doing some other things. I mean, you're already doing some crazy things, which is cool.
Oh, I ain't messing around, man.
I know you're not. I know.
See, we like to get down, Jack.
We like to get down, Jack.
Yeah.
About. I mean, I invited Ronnie to drop by tonight because I wanted to make sure that we didn't say anything that wasn't correct on Brandon Sanderson. He says, I've read everything that he has done in the last 2 years. He is prolific and is a great storyteller. I highly recommend you try Way of Kings first. I think I picked that up actually on Ronnie's suggestion. You will be an instant fan. Be forewarned, his books are as long as the Encyclopedia Britannica.
For those of you who know what the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Imagine Wikipedia, but in a book.
He's not joking. I'm looking at it on Audible right now, and Way of Kings is This is an audio book. All right,
okay.
45 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow, that's
holy moly!
The whole book.
That's a lot.
Wow, I thought Ready Player One at 12 hours was long enough.
Right?
That is quite a book.
I'm not deep into my new job to be able to listen to that while I'm working yet.
So, Ronnie, did you take advantage? This is what I want to know. Did you take advantage of the Kickstarter? Did you get in on it, or did you just your friend get in on it? And if you didn't get in on it, you being a big fan of his, why did you not do that? That's my question to Ronnie. Damon says we need a yearly TV series where they hand out book deals to the best unknown authors.
Oh,
that's a great idea, and it also brings up a really great point, which is, are we going to? Is Stephen King and James Patterson and J.K. Rowling, are they going to suck all the air out of Kickstarter, which was originally created so that people that were being gate kept had a place where they could go to the public and get their stuff funded? It was not made for the big. It wasn't made for the big boys. It was made for, the every person to get in there and get some help.
And see
they weren't doing it otherwise. Or on the other hand, is it possible that if you have Stephen King and Patterson and Sanderson all doing work there, does that also bring in another audience, which otherwise would not be at Kickstarter? And maybe while they're there, they see some of the independent creators that we have on the show.
It's a possibility.
Yeah,
which one is it?
I think it's a real possibility.
I like your idea, Damon.
I do too. I think that's brilliant.
Ronnie says Sanderson's completion of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time was masterfully done, and it was epic in scope. Tying up all the loose ends in that story was incredible. Didn't Sanderson, please correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he start out being like the guy who wrote the Dungeons and Dragons novels? Wasn't that like his entry into the deal? Like, I mean, I won't call it fan fiction because it was official stuff, but it also wasn't like original work. It was like he took the the world that they had created for the different, Dungeons and Dragons realms, and then wrote some books on it. Is that correct? I think so.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe
Mel
Ronnie will
Odom
correct
did a
me on
lot of that too.
He certainly did. Mel, you want to talk about prolific? How many books has Mel Odom written? Hundreds, must have.
Probably hundreds, literally. Yeah. Well, he started out doing what was the Soldier of Fortune series that he started out on? Mac Bolan,
Was it
the
Executioner?
Yeah, he took over for that for several years.
Yeah, he's not even credited on that.
No, none of that. That's all ghostwritten
that's all
stuff.
Right. That all says Mac Bolan on it.
Yeah. And then he did a couple of Goosebumps books, I think. For Stone.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
And then he used to do the hint books for several video games, and he did those well under the original creators.
Mel Odom dedicated a book to me.
Oh, really?
And I lost the book in Kansas City, and I can't find it. I cannot find it online. I just want to pick up the.
I want to get my. Do you need me to get my peeps in Kansas City to look for that book for you?
Yeah, that thing is lost.
There you go.
I don't even. I want to. It was something called like Blood Feud or Blood Simple or Pure Blood or something like. It had blood in the title. I don't remember what it was, but he, that was back when he was coming up to the comic store.
Yeah.
And I was at the comic store all the time, and he dedicated a book to me, and I'm like, dude, I can't believe you dedicated a book to me. And his answer to that was, look, after the first 5 or 6 books, you dedicate your, the book to like your family and your immediate friends and stuff. And he said, after that, if you're a prolific author, you start looking for people that that
you dedicate a book to anybody.
Yeah, And so anyway, I got the book.
That's
so anyway,
cool.
that's my Mel Odom story.
So basically the gist of that is that by buying all of this stuff and wearing the shirts, et cetera, for Elusive, that I'm trying to get into the credits on Elusive 2.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't know for certain, but I'm telling you right now that if we, legitimately got in with that crowd, we could probably actually be in the movie. I mean,
that's what I'm betting on.
We might be Jay. We might be Jay and Silent Bob in the movie, but we might be way in the background. But I bet that we could probably get on the set somewhere.
I think when that crew was on, I think we actually pined for that. So hopefully they're listening.
We gotta keep in touch with them, or show up at one of the premieres.
Truth.
And I mean, you're a shoo-in, Steve, with all your swag.
Was it Paid in Blood? Was it Paid in Blood? Is that the book?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Paid in Blood? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dirk, that caught me wrong too. I was like, wait a minute, did I pay for the hat in blood? What? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, then.
I have looked and looked. Look, I have looked at lists of books that he's written, and it's just not on there. I know that they have like a collection of Mel Odom books up at OU somewhere, and I would like to look through that collection and see if I could find out what it is. But he's written so damn many books that he has books that are like lost to time, like Tears in the Rain.
Wow.
Very poetic. Very poetic, Dirk.
Thank you. I made that up. That's my line.
Good job. Good job.
I'm just going to recite song lyrics like "Hook Tears on the Flame" or whatever.
I'm going to make a note of that. That might be able to adapt that into a shirt as well.
So Ronnie says that in good conscience he did not spend the money. He couldn't find the money for it. He's going to read his friend's stuff when it comes in. I mean, I can imagine there was a smaller version, like not the $3,000 version. There must have been a $40 or $50 version where you got the 4 books.
Well, Ronnie listed it as 3-5,000. So I'm hoping that maybe it was like $3 to $5,000 range.
I think it was 3,000.
No, I think that's 3,000 to 5,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, there's Shin Shingerton.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for dropping by. Hey, we just talked about an anniversary episode coming up. We'd love to have you on it, by the way.
It'll be an all-star episode.
How I asked Mel. No, actually, what I need to do is get Mel on the show. That's what needs to happen. I mean, it's not like I couldn't get in touch with the guy and have him on the show. It's just I haven't done it, but he would be a great guest for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Actually, we could probably talk to him for the
you could just let him
hour,
talk, and that
because we could we could talk about stories and about everything that he's done, and then also ask it because he is the guy to talk. I mean, people who are like, they have difficulty writing stories or getting stuff out or getting published. That's the guy you want to talk to, because number one, he's the most prolific guy that I've ever seen. People say Stephen King writes a lot. Stephen King cannot lick the boots of Mel Odom. Mel Odom has written more. When he gets up in the morning, he writes more than Stephen King's written his entire life.
I'm waiting on Stephen King to pop in here with a comment. If he would pop in with a comment, I would just lose myself.
He'll be like, challenge accepted.
Gonna throw down in a street gang.
Stephen King is more than welcome to be on the show anytime he wants.
He'll be like, Sanderson, whatever heroes you care to create, that's fine. I'm going to write another book and have them all killed.
I could probably find 2 hours for Stephen King as well.
Oh, yeah. At least the early years.
Ronnie says he works at OU and talks to Mel when he sees him. He said, Dirk who?
Well, he's got to use your other alias,
That's hard.
Yeah, what was it? The name your mama gave you.
Yeah.
Ronnie says it was $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, you're definitely welcome. Like I said, we're gonna have an anniversary. We just talked about it earlier. We're gonna have this is our 3
years old.
This is our 3-year anniversary tonight. We will have a full episode on that soon, and you are absolutely welcome. You're one of the people we want to have on.
I can fully guarantee you that between $3,000 and $5,000 is one that I will not be participating in.
Yeah,
that's a lot. Well, but you could have gotten it for less. I'm sure that there was a lower tier besides $3,000. There's no way that he made up that $40 million.
Yeah,
just getting $3,000.
Plus, wait a couple of years. There'll be some of those will pop up in the conventions that you can wheel and deal on.
That's true.
For only $12,000.
Just to kind of wrap this thing up, I think that this situation is just another shot across the bow with things like Substack, Kickstarter, Patreon, Webtoons, and everything else. I think that the gatekeepers are getting knocked down. It used to be just 20 years ago. It used to be that you had to go like Tiny Tim begging to the book publishers to, may I please publish my book, please? You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to go begging to the people.
I have written more than 60,000 words in this passage.
Exactly. You don't have to do that anymore. I mean, this is a terrible example, but the woman who did 50 Shades of Grey, I can't remember her name right now.
That's a terrible example.
No,
E.L. James.
Terrible example.
E.L. James. I know it's terrible books, but she originally self-published those stupid books and made literally millions of dollars on those books, and then got a traditional book publishing deal, and they made a few movies out of that stuff. So it's totally possible for you to do this whole thing now without having to bow before the gatekeepers. And I think that that's probably the underlying story of this. And I think that a lot of people will, follow in these footsteps. They're probably not going to make $40 million, but even if they make, $4,000, that's going to be enough to get their work out in front of a bunch of people. And if you continue to do it, you can get the book deals or the movie deals or whatever it is. It's happened many, many times where we've seen people start out by publishing their own stuff lately and getting it going. And to be honest with you, I think that the gatekeepers are slowly dying off. Also, one other thing I want to mention about the Sanderson thing is I kept seeing something. Let me look it up. It's called Dragonsteel Books. That's Sanderson's publishing company. So he created his own publishing company, and it's sitting on $40 million now. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
So he could actually be his own kingmaker. He could, take some of that money. He could take 1 million out of that, 5 million. And he could be he could run up against the big guys by publishing other people, like friends of his or people who he knows in the business who should get more attention.
Yeah.
He could.
Ironically, he becomes a gatekeeper.
That's, money talks, folks.
Right.
That's
So
actually
He could be
really
the
good
next
point.
Project Greenlight,
Absolutely. Think about
And-
like the idea of having the reality show. I mean, think about how many artists
Yeah.
would get an opportunity that they wouldn't normally get from one of the larger publishing houses.
hmm
That's amazing, and I
He
love
owns
that
this
idea.
stuff outright. It's 100% his.
it's all
Yeah.
his.
Anything that if they
Yeah.
do make a movie or something out of it, it's his. If
Yeah.
he wants to publish it again or roll it into another project, it's his.
It's
If he
his.
wants to expand it into another field, it's still his. It's just look, we live in fantastic times. If you have a little bit of luck and you put out the right material the right way, anyone can
As
grab a piece of this.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
to paraphrase Winston Zeddemore, if you've got the tools and the talent,
Oh dear,
Yeah.
that's a big Twinkie.
yeah,
Ronnie says that his friends are empty nesters and they just have the money to blow, basically. But there's a lot of people in that position, though.
yeah.
Hey, Scott's watching this. Scott, you're another one that we very much want on the anniversary
Hey,
show.
Scott.
So
Yeah.
please keep in touch with me. And
Oh,
in the next couple of weeks, if you're available, we'd like to have you on for the anniversary show.
And by the way, Scott, Mom enjoys your readings.
Oh, hey, is that right?
That's right.
That's right.
Well, you heard from her.
Yes.
That's awesome. See, Scott, you're picking up new fans.
You've got a fan base.
Building up that base. Yeah.
We're throwing them out there today. We're full of them.
Damon says, "What is Uncle Scrooge in charge of? Who gets to publish a book now?"
Always.
It's
Yeah.
always like that. It's always like that. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff out there that, like, traditional publishers, just like everyone else, people who make movies, people who make television, all of that stuff. No one wants to take a chance on anything. Everyone wants, if Star Wars is a big movie, they're like, what can we make that's like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, you can literally make anything, a Western, a musical, whatever it is, as long as it's good, people are interested in it. It doesn't have, people are like, well, superhero movies are so popular right now. Superhero movies are popular because they're good. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
That's
They're
it.
well written. They're well written.
Some of them are exceptionally well
Yeah.
written.
Well, and they're not campy, whether it's intentional or not anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they.
I mean,
respect
go back and look at the original Doctor Strange
respect the
movie.
viewers.
the
Sure.
Terrible film.
We're
Terrible
Fantastic
movie.
Four.
the CBS.
Well, yeah.
Look it up, kids, on YouTube. It's on YouTube. The original Doctor Strange
Old
TV,
Captain America.
that
Yeah.
old Captain America. You can get those on DVD.
Spider-Man television series.
Yeah,
Good
what was it?
Lord.
Red Brown was at a con not too far from Dallas just recently,
Is that right?
and made an appearance there. He doesn't have as much hair anymore, but he still looks like the same guy.
Scott
Just,
says Sanderson made $40 million during the pandemic. My friend cleared their networks. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
You gotta,
That's the difference.
gatekeepers or not, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
The money does not come to you without that work. The work really has to be there. And the less people know you, the more work you got to do to get that out there. So it's not a magic bullet. Scott says, I talked with your mom. Well,
Cool.
yeah, that Fantastic Four movie, that whole thing was never released.
you can get it.
You
There's
can
bootleg
get it.
copies of
You
it
can get
all over the
It was
place.
done by who was the guy who did that? I can't remember his name.
Corman.
Roger Corman.
Roger Corman was given the Fantastic Four movie to kind of sit on it or whatever, so that and they produced a movie so that they would
really quick.
hang on to the rights.
Yeah, I think it
And-
was like $1.4 million was
Yeah,
the total budget.
you
Which
can
most of that
actually
was spent on the theme costumes. That took most of the budget.
that and the Human Torch animation at the end,
That's true. That's true.
which was a swipe of the Fleischer Superman.
Yeah.
Should have stuck with the Death Race shows there.
Oh,
Roger.
Oh, I love those Death Race movies. The original ones. The David Carradine versions were so
Yeah,
Ryan
cheesy.
James says, Mr. Hooper, you tried to be a soldier once, but your music wouldn't wait.
Yeah.
Have you seen the newer version? They might have done more since then, but have you seen the newer version of Death Race that they did?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jason Statham ones.
No. The ones
did
that were done
Jason
by
Statham's one.
the Corman
No,
group.
this this
No, I
was
haven't.
just recently done. Like I want to say
Yeah.
within the last 5 years.
It's
Yeah, there's been 2 or 3,
Really?
hasn't there?
I mean, it is the true sequel to this thing. It has the same feeling to it. It's excellent. It's kind of crazy and weird, just like the original version of it.
Yeah.
See that new forget the Statham version. See the new version of the thing. It's excellent. It's really good.
I actually think I've got that on DVD upstairs. I need to go watch that.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
I
by the
think I
way,
watched it. I'm pretty sure.
you can get the Corman Fantastic Four on DVD. You just have to. I mean, like an official.
Go to a convention.
No, an official. They did.
Really?
They did release it on DVD. You can
Yeah.
find it.
Ronnie says when Sanderson sits down to write, he pounds out around 10,000 words at a time. Bridge for Forever. He says, you folks will see when you read it. So there
That's
you
pretty close to Mel's word in a week.
go. What? Brian James says, speaking of comic films, does anyone recall the Showtime After Dark feature that was a spoof of the Archie gang?
No.
Is that for real?
No.
Yeah.
Our Schmelkus. Stop pulling our Schmelkus.
all I know is for a time, the porn industry were producing better superhero costumes than the actual.
Oh,
Hollywood.
yeah.
I mean, almost that goes up till today. Like if you want to see like a real Scarlet Witch outfit, look for the adult version.
Yeah,
They are doing the real version of that outfit,
they.
and it doesn't look too terrible.
I'm just telling you, they have been like on some of their costumes, they have been spot on.
They have.
Yeah. Well, you
All
get people who know how to make good latex and spandex costumes for a living.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
All
Anyway.
right, I'm going to take us into the next subject, and here it comes. Today, breaking news. There was a Thor Love and Thunder teaser trailer that we got. Was anyone else surprised to get that today?
Actually, it was
Yeah.
yesterday. So
Yeah,
Okay.
it popped out. It popped out around midnight yesterday.
Okay.
That's when I saw it, and I liked it. Yeah, I wasn't
think it's
expecting one because
it
they've
seems like they
been
would
talking about it.
it seems like the full push right now, and typically the way that Marvel operates is that they won't get ahead of whatever the next thing that's coming out. Well, the Doctor Strange thing is coming out like within a few weeks.
yeah.
Yeah,
So for them to say, hey, here's some Thor Love and Thunder, it's like, oh wow. I did not expect that. I
Yeah.
really expected for them to start pushing
Yeah,
that
you
after
you
Doctor
figured it would have
Strange.
been on the you figured, or been on the previews the day Doctor Strange is in theater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That
Which it
right,
will.
that-
I mean,
trail for sure. Anyway, I assume everyone here has seen the trailer, correct?
hmm
Just to the panel, what do you think about it? And what's your initial thoughts? And what do you think about? Well, I'll ask you the questions here in a minute. Who wants to take that? Walt, what do you think about the trailer?
I can't wait. I've always been a big fan of Thor. I mean, since the Simonson days, and I want to thank Walt Simonson for getting me hooked on Thor with the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill. But because I never even thought of Thor, and so this movie, and we'll go into it later because I know you're going to ask questions, but there's so many Easter eggs in this trailer that was amazing.
I want to hear that for sure. Mike, what do you think, man?
I think it's really exciting. I mean, it's good that they're still introducing stuff from the Simpson days, and then we're getting the stuff. One clip where Natalie Portman turns with the helmet on, perfect shot. The transition from young Thor to our current Thor,
right?
We see him working out, bouncing the chains like this to work his spare tire off was good. I mean, it's got a lot of good. I mean, you can definitely figure out that it's a Taika Waititi film just from those elements. For sure. So, and it's got. I mean, this guy is so busy right now and so popular. If you've not seen Our Flag Means Death on HBO,
no, not
take
yet.
the time.
What is that?
He plays. It's a comedy on pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they've gone all out. I mean, they have their own ship, everything.
It's really good.
Talks about
it looks
a
good.
historical figure called the Gentleman Pirate, who's actually real in pirate history, as well as Taika Waititi also plays Blackbeard in the show, and it's really good. I mean, big group of misfit pirates run by a guy going through his midlife crisis. So she builds a ship, hires a crew, just doesn't Shanghai people on.
Right.
And then they go to sail the seven seas to live the pirate life, which the only pirate life he knows is what he's read in books. He's never lived outside of his privileged background. So, it's a reality trip for him and the fantasy trip for the pirate life as well. It's really well done. I think HBO did really good. I wasn't sure with the first episode, but as they built the characters and they built the backstory, you begin to appreciate it more. And the episode where he goes home and finds out that he's been declared dead by his former wife, and she's taken all of his money, is really funny. For the one episode where he's landlocked, it's a really good story. It's just well done. So I'm excited for season 2 to come up to see because they kind of left it hanging.
Right.
So, but you see a lot of that in this trailer as well. And I don't think we got enough of that clash between Peter Quill and Thor. I don't think they listed enough of that in the trailer. So, which we saw that and Endgame towards the end when they took off into the outer space, the Asgardians of the galaxy.
Right. Let me pause for just a second and say, if you're watching us, please leave a like right now. Now is the time to leave a like or a comment or share this episode. If you're watching us, like, yes, dude, why not? Why not do all of it? Why not do all of it right now? It sure would help us out a lot. Just
like, share, subscribing.
Wherever you're at, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on YouTube, or you're on Facebook, please leave us a like and share this sucker so that other people will know that we're out there talking to you. We would appreciate it. Thank you. Steve, what's your initial thought about the Thor Love and Thunder teaser?
I'm fully psyched. I'm going to be very unpopular when I say that Ragnarok really didn't do a whole lot for me.
Wow.
The first time I watched it. Now, subsequent viewings, it kind of grew on me a little bit. I could kind of see the formula building, and as the movies progressed, they got better. But without those tie-ins, I think Ragnarok really kind of bothered me a lot, just because of the fact that it was, I don't know, it just seemed like it was a little too over the top for me initially. The inclusion of Jeff Goldblum in just about anything bothers me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So
with the exception of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and apartment.com commercials. But anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. It kind of it bent me the wrong way. But suffice to say that I am very excited for Love of Thunder. If for nothing else, then I'm looking forward to the Rocky type.
The montage.
I have the tiger, get back into shape montage.
I think that is.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that a
definitely in
parody
there.
of that is definitely
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I you know, that's not,
If it's not, shame on Walker to keep.
I mean, I don't think he's going to miss that opportunity.
No, it had to happen.
I like that he didn't just, you know, snap his fingers and become thin and in shape. They're actually going to have him, you know, work out and stuff. But yeah, I think for sure that we're going to get that montage that you're.
I mean, you can just hear it from Rocky IV. It's just, you're the best.
Actually, what I'm looking forward to for them to sandwich in, pun intended, him eating a salad.
Right.
Because remember, his mother told him
his mom told him to eat a salad.
So him having a bowl of salad would be icing on the cake for me.
Our watchers are having a subtopic here, which I don't want to get on because otherwise we'll never get through this one.
But suffice to say, let me wrap up by saying I am looking forward to it very much. I enjoyed the trailer. Like Walt says, there are a myriad of Easter eggs available in that trailer, and discuss. But yeah, I'm looking forward to
it. I love Taika Waititi. He has a real good, solid handle on Thor and his world, that character, and what's going on with him. And I can't wait to see what he does with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because besides James Gunn, is there anyone else who could kind of nail that group other than Taika Waititi? So you're going to have kind of the same, you know, those two kind of exist in the same sort of, you know, their tone is very similar, kind of wacky, but also can pull at your heartstrings. They both have that ability to turn on you, to take the wackiness and then make you, you know, cry like a baby.
or throw in something really serious, you know, to get you like,
yeah, for sure. And you know, that's a hell of a combination. I think it creates a full experience as a movie, and I think that's awesome. I also think that, I mean, obviously what we're seeing with this, and I mean, maybe more than anyone, we have seen Thor develop more than any other character that I can think of, except you might make a case for Loki, which, you know, is kind of in the Thor universe. But think back to the original Thor film, you know, how he was all, you know, Asgarded up and so formal and, you know, that sort of stuff. And then, I mean, we've seen him, I mean, no one has taken more loss than Thor has taken with, you know, with his parents and with his sister, and with his brother, his planet,
exactly,
his eye, and, you know, everything. I mean, so much has happened to that character, and they continue to find ways of mining that character and bringing up gold time and time again. And I think that you're seeing it again. You're seeing the character evolve and move into another thing just in this teaser, and I'm very excited about that. I think it's really cool. So
I mean, they breathe new life into it with the inclusion of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh
yeah.
Look, those Peter Quill and Thor playing off of each other for an entire movie, and I hope that I hope the Guardians are around for the entire movie. They may or may not be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Quill wants to go look for Gamora. So, you know, it may just be at the beginning. I don't know. I don't get a sense of how long they're going to be in it, but I hope that this is kind of a, you know, a sub Guardians movie as well, because those characters, because Thor interacting with those guys would be really spectacular.
Yeah. Well, and especially with Rocket as well.
And it's time for another kind of crossover movie, seeing as Captain America Civil War was actually Avengers 2.5.
Well, and we all want to know kind of what's happening. You know, what have we had? We've had Spider-Man movies. We had Black Widow, which was set.
Oh, which came out on DVD today, by the way.
Did it? Okay, yeah.
Oh, did it? Good.
You know, the Spider-Man movie is very important in the Marvel universe, but we didn't really get to see a lot that was going on. This is going to be, not set on Earth, but definitely you're going to get to see some of these characters and what they're, what's happened after Endgame, which is also exciting to keep the plot moving along. A lot of the movies that we've had lately have been introducing new characters, so this is going to be, we're going to get to see some of what the the regular the original casts were doing. Let's talk about. I'm not sure what is she known just as Thor, or is she Lady Thor, or what is it's just Thor. What do you think about Amidala being Thor?
have you seen how jacked her arms are now?
Oh man,
she's a twig. She is a twig. She's usually about this big around, about that right there.
Yeah. Now
she's put on some weight.
All I know is I cannot wait to see.
It's going to be great.
She's kind of like Welcome to the Gun Show.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the Gun Show. Can't wait.
It's pretty cool.
All I know is that Matilda wielded a gun. Let's see her wield Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got the original. What's the story there?
Yeah.
How does she get that?
How does it
hammer?
How does it pull itself back together?
Did anybody understand my Matilda reference?
I did.
Yes, from The Professional.
Yes. Good man.
Anything else that you guys? Walt, you said you have some.
Oh, so all of the
Hulk. Trailer just dropped too.
Yeah, she had that trailer dropped a couple of weeks ago too.
Yeah.
The montage of Thor as a kid, up until now, the costumes in that were, I mean, we got to see him in the classic Thor costume,
right?
Yeah, and then at the end where they show him, where it looks like he's all armored up, that's actually a current version of his costume now, but without the helmet. So
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then the other thing that I got was him in the red vest, which Thunderstrike. It's basically Thunderstrike.
Sigurd Jarlson.
Yeah. It's basically Thunderstrike, and then the other thing was the boat, the space boat pulled by the goats, which I got a feeling the Guardians of the Galaxy are just going to be in there briefly, and then he's going to go on his own, because when I saw that, I was like, so the Guardians of the Galaxy being a part of this is just going to be a setup for him to decide that he needs to decide what he needs to do with his life. And then,
that's a good point.
And then Zeus.
Oh yeah. Can we discuss the soundtrack a second?
Sure. Go ahead.
Because with the mixture of the mix in with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which by the way, 1 and 2 have quite possibly some of the most spectacular movies soundtracks ever created.
For sure.
I think that with the initial song that you hear in this trailer is, of course, "Sweet Child of Mine" from Guns N' Roses. I think that between the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the Thor movies, I'm loving the music. It's so kind of pseudo nostalgic for me, but at the same time, it fits perfectly. They brought in what was it, the immigrant song from Led Zeppelin in Ragnarok, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And they could not have possibly used that any better than they did. So
for sure.
You know what? I'm gonna go one step further on that, and I'm gonna say lately, Marvel, including the series, they have been dropping some really good music.
Truth.
In their series and their movies, because
it's effective.
The songs, the end theme songs that they chose for Hawkeye, every episode I was like, that works.
Yep.
That fits. They did Christmas Island from Depeche Mode. I'm like, I'm like, you get to pull one out of the ass award for that one.
Well, that's the benefit of being Marvel, is because they're making money hand over fist. And
it was like,
they want.
And it was like that song was perfect. She's deaf and it's thumping with bass, and she's got her hand on the speaker listening to that. I was like, that's so perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing the same thing with Moon Knight, and I'm just like, just listening to the music, and I'm just like, gosh, this is just. I could, I don't even need to watch it. Just play the music.
I'm getting overwhelmed with all the awesome.
So, yeah. So I'll throw that in there.
Do you think that we're going to get Loki in this film?
I'm sorry, say again.
Loki? Do you think we're going to get any Loki in this film?
I think he'll make an appearance.
If we get Loki,
typically we get Loki in Thor movies.
Yeah.
If we get Loki, it's going to be I would say. Well, I say if we do get Loki, I think it's going to be a credits extra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't.
And it'll be a reference to the series.
It'll be a reference to the series.
Yeah, and who knows, might slip a little bit of Kang into that. Since, since we're building into that.
Yeah.
So it would make sense.
Another thing is I'm glad they didn't show any of the villain. I'm hoping until the movie comes out, like a week into the movie being out, they don't show anything of the villain.
They already did it. When they announced and released pictures of all the action figures for Love and Thunder, the villain, they released the villain also.
Well, but I mean, in the trailers, they don't need to show the villain.
Yeah. Oh no. But
we don't need to see the villain. Please, just keep the villain to itself.
But we've seen it as an action figure, but not in a film.
I'm almost to the point where I don't need to see trailer. I'm going to watch the movie. They don't have to sell it to me.
They don't have to sell it to me.
I always hope that they don't show me like scenes around the end of the movie on these things because I'm going to see your damn movie.
And I love that Marvel swerves us. I love that Marvel swerves us.
I do too.
But they intentionally
film. Are very angry about that.
They intentionally film scenes to throw us off. I love that.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of back in the day when comic covers used to have little blurbs, and you're like, oh, and it got you into it, and you're reading the book. It's like nothing on the cover happened inside this book.
That's old school clickbait.
Yeah, old school clickbait. Let's bring that back. In fact, I want to bring that back to comics.
I will say I was ashamed I'll be ashamed to admit the fact that I didn't realize that the Love and Thunder trailer was out yet. The only reason I knew it is because across the office, all I heard was that guitar. From Sweet Child of Mine. And I was like, who's listening to that? And they're like, oh, this trailer is awesome. And I was like, what? Went across the room and freaked out.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get out of this subject, let me read some of the comments because, like I said, they're having another conversation.
I'm not going to go off on that tangent either.
Cheryl says that she finally watched the Batman last night and she expected more.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with her.
No Batman tattoos.
Damon, right? She's running
only if it's a Mickey Mouse Batman.
Damon says, I loved Thor 1 and 2, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I really dislike Thor Ragnarok. He agrees with Steve.
Yeah.
Felt the director tried to shove too much silly humor into the movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
But like I said, the more I watched it, the more it grew on me.
Mm-hmm. It also balances out the first
I loved
Thor,
it, but
too.
I also understand why people wouldn't, if they want it to be a little bit more serious. It certainly wasn't that. Although, again, it did get serious at times.
It got serious at the end.
That's the swerve. That's the swerve that you get with James Gunn and Taika Waititi. Damon also says the Dark Knight trilogy will always be the best. It was an instant masterpiece.
I'm not going off
take on that.
I'm not going off on that tangent. I'll just say that I'm in the middle on that one. So next.
I can't argue it. I mean, my favorite still will always be the Michael Keaton Batman, but I can't argue that the Dark Knight trilogy wasn't amazing.
Yeah, I can't argue that it wasn't amazing. I mean, that's it. But
there are
next. I'm not going off on that tangent.
There are things about, as I said when I talked about the Batman on this thing, there are things about that film that I like better than any Batman film, but just things. I mean, it's not the whole deal. Let's see what they do with the next film and stuff. The one good thing with the Nolan films is they had a certain feel and a theme that ran throughout the whole deal, and they took it very serious and stuff. They're definitely trying to do that with this new series and stuff. I think that there's some quality things in this new deal. I think that here's my hot take on the Dark Knight trilogy. I think that the third movie really landed with a thud. I thought that they suffered mightily because there was no Heath Ledger to follow up in that third film, which was originally what they were going to do. And I think that I thought that the Catwoman was terrible. By far the worst Catwoman ever. Any worse than Halle Berry? I said it.
That's bad.
I did not like that. The Bane didn't really resolve with me. And so anyway,
I really wanted to hear like a Cuban accent for Bane.
I'm really trying to resist tangent here.
The third movie in the thing was not. Look, the second movie in the Dark Knight trilogy is one of the best, any kind of movie, one of the best movies of all time, period.
It's because it's the closest
but
to
if you're
Batman
going to
Year
look at
One that
if
we
you're
ever
going to
got.
look at the whole thing, if you're going to look at all three films, the first movie was a little of a snore, and the third movie kind of went off the rails, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Still very entertaining, good movies, but is largely propped up by the brilliant second film.
Yes, the second film.
You can't replace Heath Ledger, plain and simple.
Ronnie says he agrees.
As a good follow-up.
Damon says the only thing he liked about Thor Ragnarok was Thor and Hulk beating the crap out of each other. That was
a fun scene.
Pretty.
I still want to know how the Hulk got there.
Right. We never really.
Well, they're talking about World War Hulk in development, and that would be where it would be a flashback, because there's no way they could. You're still going to have the Illuminati send him
right
up to War.
Yeah.
And you can't do that without
part of Ragnarok. Ronnie agrees.
That was a great scene. The whole fight thing it was well done. It was nice seeing the repeat of Thor getting what Loki got in Avengers.
Damon mentioned something that, unfortunately, we get a lot of things. He says a couple of months before Ghostbusters Afterlife came out, they released a 2-pack of action figures of the daughter and Ghostfather Egon. Spoiler alert. I think even in the description they gave the ending away. That happens a lot with toy. I mean, people who comb the solicitation stuff for the toys get a lot of information about the outfits and about characters that are going to be in there. And unfortunately, like Damon says, sometimes they give away the damn plot on the boxes of the toys. That which is, what? The only time they didn't do that was with the Star Wars action figures. They held off on the Baby Yoda stuff. The Baby Yoda stuff, which they could have sold 400 trillion of if they were in the stores when The Mandalorian came out, they held off. To their credit, they held off on it. And then they released the Baby Yoda stuff. They still sold a trillion of them.
8 million of it.
But but they didn't but they didn't give away the fact that you got a Baby Yoda coming down the pike by soliciting those toys. They got to be aware of that.
Those damn dirt sheets.
Can we please make an official show rule to not refer to it as Baby Yoda anymore?
He is Grogu for sticklers.
Sorry.
Which sounds like a baby noise.
Yoda. I say Baby Yoda because if you don't say that, half of the people lose track of what you're talking about.
They go, what? Yeah.
Even now.
What's a Grogu?
Even now. But you could you could ask who the vice president of the United States is, and only 10 people out of 100 would get that answer. But
Baby Yoda.
If you ask who, but if you ask who Baby Yoda is, almost everyone would know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, all the lights come on.
Ashell likes the Michael Keaton Batman as well.
By the way,
they're getting some new Michael Keaton Batman coming up here soon.
Yeah, they've already revealed his costume. They've already revealed his costume from the
costume looks great.
And it does look great.
Out of all the announcements this week, Love and Thunder, et cetera, that is absolutely what piqued my interest.
It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I love that Michael Keaton.
Who would
putting
have
the suit back
thought?
on.
Who would have thought even 5 years ago? Who would have thought that we were going to get Michael Keaton back in that outfit? But much less be like, I mean, actually, like a star of the thing, not like a 5-minute show up. I mean, they're talking seriously about, you know, him starring in other stuff, like, you know, him having a recurring role in other movies or television series or who knows what.
You know what?
There's
Somebody.
the Batgirl.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walt. The
Oh,
Batgirl series on HBO Max. So.
Yeah. There was somebody posted up a fan casting. They said, wouldn't it have been better if we had had this and they had put Robert Pattinson in a Batman Beyond outfit with Robert Keaton standing behind, or Michael Keaton standing behind him?
Oh,
And I just went, my jaw went wham. I was like, that would have been badass. That would have been badass.
I mean, it'd be my luck that
Yeah.
they put Keaton back in the suit for some Doritos Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a reach, but in this world, you can't.
I'm hoping we get Batman Beyond with Keaton. I think.
God, that
That'd
would
be
be
awesome.
amazing.
That's that's what I'm living for right now.
Oh,
That and for NASA to
If the-
finally develop a fully operational warp drive so I can leave this place. God.
We're working on it.
I want my own phone booth. Phone box.
Speaking of your own phone booth, here's our next subject. Wow.
Yeah.
How many of those silly things do you have, Steve?
I may or may not have them all.
All of them.
I'm gonna go with May.
Do they
Probably
have
without
some
a
of
doubt.
the? Do they have some from the older Doctors? Do they?
Yes.
And you
I started out life with Dr.
You have
Whittaker.
those as well?
I do. They're all in a shadow box up on the wall.
Of course.
That's cool.
This one, I haven't added it yet, but it'll get there.
Which one is that one?
This is Capaldi's,
Okay. All right.
and it's awesome. This is
All right.
actually my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that with Eccleston and Tennant's sonic screwdrivers, they really just kind of carried one over to the other.
They
And
did.
When Matt Smith came on, they gave him a brand new one, and it was cool. And then when Capaldi came on, he initially started out with Smith's Sonic, and then it went away, and he had the Sonic Ray Bans, which was stupid. But anyway, another story for another time. And then they created this one, and I absolutely adore this one because it just screams. That's the TARDIS right there. I mean, it screams Doctor Who all over it.
Right.
So,
Right. We never talk about Doctor Who, and Steve mentioned, hey,
travesty.
right. Well, here's the issue. The issue is that, some of the other regular contributors are not watching Doctor Who at all. They're just not up with it.
Beth
And
is watching it.
And I'm not. She
Beth,
is.
Yes.
She is. And I'm not as up on it as I should be, although I'm better than I was, let's say, a year ago. I've been catching up on it slowly. And
You're only 17 years behind. Don't worry about
it. I will explain why I'm catching up slowly here in a moment. But Steve, I know that you're right on top of it, and apparently Mike is too. So between the two of you, could you, without spoiling it for everyone, can you give kind of an idea of what's happening in the series right now?
Well, I mean, do you want the beginning or the end? Because, like I said, Sunday night we got a brand new Doctor Who in the Legends of the Sea Devils, and for those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's not the most overwhelming Doctor Who episode, but I was fascinated and I actually really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
But yeah, this is Jody Whittaker's penultimate episode as the Doctor. I think the next episode comes up later in the year, autumn, I think.
It's not the one where she hands over the sonic spanner.
Spanner?
Screwdriver. Sonic screwdriver.
Oh, wait, do we turn British all of a sudden? Do we refer to a screwdriver as a spanner? No. Well, we don't know. That's the
maybe that happened.
Well, in the teaser that they showed right after the new episode premiered, they do show the transition beginning. Now they don't show
so wait a
anything
minute.
else.
It's not just a one episode thing. There's going to be other episodes here.
Yes.
I thought it was like a holiday special type thing or something.
They don't do the holiday specials anymore. So
Okay.
when Chris Chibnall took it over, they did a New Year's Eve special.
Okay.
Or was it New Year's Day? I forget. But anyway, suffice to say that Chibnall basically killed off the Christmas specials. So that's another black mark on Chibnall amongst all the other ones that he's created. But he
has a lot of black marks.
Oh my gosh. He is
I will go into that in just a minute, but
he came this close to completely ruining Doctor Who for me.
I know. Well,
really?
Does it have to do, and I don't know what happened, but is it something that happened about a season ago where 2 seasons ago? That's how far behind I am. I'm coming up on that moment because I know that they have mentioned the phrase, whatever it is, and basically they said, I mean, this is long ago, so it's not really a spoiler thing, that the Doctor is not a Time Lord, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Okay. What are you talking
about?
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. Because in my book, he's every bit a Time Lord. It's in fact, I would say he's the Time Lord. You have the elders that are back on Gallifrey, and they cause problems, and they really, really screwed over Capaldi's Doctor with his at the end of that series, because they put together probably 2, 3. I wouldn't even hesitate to say 6 episodes together that just confused the ever loving hell out of me as a Doctor Who fan, and it was just kind of like, this is not how, because I love Capaldi's Doctor. And this is not how I wanted him to go out. It was very confusing. And then when they popped up with Jody Whittaker, I was really excited. I thought, yes, this is great. It's a brave new world. And Chibnall had written some of the greatest episodes that Doctor Who had in the past. So I was really excited about it. But then the first episode of Jody Whittaker's series premiered, and it was just kind of like, what the hell is this?
Doctor Who.
No, and every episode after that, it just got progressively worse. And the second season that they brought Jodie in, it was even worse. They had a couple of instances where the writing didn't let her down. Either that or she fought through it and put in a real good episode. But then they started doing all these little individual episodes. The latest one, like I said, being the Legends of the Sea Devils. And instead of full seasons that we've been getting recently, we've just been getting these spotty singular episodes. Well, I hope that when Davies comes back, he'll bring back the whole season type.
Does it feel like they're kind of limping into the finish line on this thing?
Yes, but with excitement. I mean, Chibnall is a lame duck. I mean, he's written himself into a corner to where everybody on the planet knows he sucks. If he ever works on the BBC or in a sci-fi network or a sci-fi genre again, it'll be too soon. But I think that, to your point, the season or the series is kind of limping into the final episode of Jodie Whittaker's tenure, but with a large amount of excitement, because now you've got the
you think he's recovering here, and okay,
who's the next Doctor? Who's Davies going to bring in to be the next Doctor?
We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Mike, go ahead.
I was going to say, I tried to watch the Jodie Whittaker episodes, because I was excited to, we're gonna have a woman Doctor Who, and I watched the first 3 episodes, and I was not impressed.
so much promise.
I was not impressed, and I was just like, and it wasn't. A lot of people will go, well, there's this group of people who say, well, they shouldn't have had a woman doctor. I was like, that's not the problem. The problem is the writing. The problem wasn't her. It's like, because she's perfect. Her the way she presented herself as the doctor and everything was perfect. It was just like, what are they? What? Yeah. And then I stopped watching. My interest was gone. So, I mean,
well, to be honest, this past weekend was the first chance I got to watch any of the Jody Whittaker.
Really? You're catching her at the end.
Yeah, because I was almost through Capaldi. When they made the announcement that Whittaker was going to be there, and I kind of went okay, and then life happened. I missed it. Yeah, I agree, Steve. The stories are very disjointed. She's a great character when they let her go. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact that they condensed them down into one-off episodes was a definite problem, because the stalwart Doctor Who fans like that long serialized that they've enjoyed from all the other Doctors up to this point, and then now it because of that, now it makes her sound like the affirmative action Doctor Who.
Right.
So. But when I Legend of the Sea Devils was a pretty close. It should have been 2 or 3 more episodes. That's what I'm trying to say. They crammed a lot of information into a relatively short episode by comparison to the older stories. So I don't think the writer gave her a chance.
No,
I don't know if that was a producer's issue. Or what, or like you said, he wrote himself into a corner, because most doctors get a pretty good lifespan, well, except for Eccleston, but that was a lot of
his
behind that.
That was his choice.
That was his doing. That was his doing.
Get out of that. In Tenet, they almost didn't want to let go. I mean, Tenet, they just kept kind of, let's just do a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. Yeah. Not that I minded. He's probably my favorite Doctor. David.
Well, stay tuned on that one.
I know.
Yeah, because I've heard
the rumors.
I've heard that story, and
I know the rumors.
Which I can see that happening. I mean,
I'd be very surprised though.
Yeah. There again, it just depends on what kind of paycheck.
True. Side note: I'd like to see him come back as the Purple Man too.
No question.
I really was. That was disappointing. The only thing disappointing me about Jessica Jones was killing him off.
I think you guys have covered pretty much the issues that I've had with the deal. I want to point out, because I really hate the fan holes who are like, you can't have a woman Doctor Who.
That's
sure you can.
I mean, it's like, you're not paying attention to what's going on here. I mean, it's no big deal to have a woman in that role. A woman could definitely do it. Someone of any color could do it.
The thing is,
the problem with her. I think she's awesome. I think her take and the way that she does the Doctor is right on target. But the writing is abysmal, and it's like there was one episode, I think maybe it was in the first season, where it was very clear that Chibnall wanted to tell this story about something that was happening, something historically that was happening in India, and to tell the story, to make it a Doctor Who story, he inserted some silly alien thing in it, and the aliens are not even really doing anything. They're just there to observe.
Yeah.
And stuff. So even the stupid insert thing that he put into this thing was beside the point, because they were not there to affect anything. And it's like, this is crap. Either make, if you want to tell those stories, then by God, go tell those stories. But this is Doctor Who.
Right.
You have people that are here to see Doctor Who and to see these situations that comes up, and you can't just go, I'm going to make some aliens that are going to hang out in the background. And so that automatically makes it Doctor Who, right?
Well,
No,
he
it
said,
does not. It's
said,
crap.
to be fair, when he took over, he said that he wasn't going to fall back on the traditional Doctor Who villains, the Daleks,
But he did
the
that.
Cybermen, all that he did.
Yeah, the Centaurans, all of that.
Yeah.
He eventually gave in on all of. I'm
the
okay
first season.
with that.
The first season, anyway. He said that he wasn't going to fall back on all those, and he didn't. But
then he brings
do was totally jacked up.
He brings the worst master ever.
Oh,
you like that master?
I actually think that is.
Does he get better later on?
He did get right, and also, spoiler alert. Of course, it's in the teaser, but he is going to make an appearance in the finale. So, I actually think he's probably one of the more insane masters and best masters that we've seen.
Wow. Well, from what I've seen, I'm not that impressed.
Okay.
But I haven't seen it all. To be fair, I haven't seen it all.
From what he's seen,
I think that given a good writer, Jody Whittaker could have been a great Doctor.
Absolutely.
But she was saddled with Chibnall, who didn't want to do Doctor Who. It's yet another case where it's like the guy, and I always go back to this because it's the perfect example. The guy who wanted to do Fantastic Four was not a fan of Fantastic Four. Josh Trask. Trask wanted to fix everything in Fantastic Four. That's not the guy that you want to be doing your movie. Yeah. If the guy feels like, hey, now I'm the director of Fantastic Four, there's a lot of shit I got to fix. It's like, no, you're gone. You're out of there. We want someone who loves the product, who loves what has come before and wants to bring that to the screen. If you're the guy who goes, hey, Doctor Who is a great platform, but I don't like Doctor Who, you got to get the F out of there. You got to be gone. Because what we want is Doctor Who. I'm perfectly fine. Look, the idea of saying I don't want to have Cybermen followed by Daleks I get it. They have been done, and they've been done and done and done. I totally get that, but don't, on the other hand, take away everything that makes Doctor Who what it is.
Yeah.
Because then you're not doing Doctor Who. You're doing a community play or something. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Well, to another point, I mean, to have Jody Whittaker brought in as the Doctor, I loved her in Broadchurch. I thought she was amazing. That was partially written by Chris Chibnall, so the potential was there. But it just never materialized in Doctor Who.
You said that he wrote some of the good episodes from the previous.
He's done a few. Stuff. I mean, they were not bad. They were not bad. In fact, I think one of them was fantastic, and I thought that there was a lot of promise there as well. The election to bring in Jody Whittaker as the Doctor, the female Doctor thing was never a big deal. 3/4 of the I'll go as far as to say 95% of the Doctor Who community wanted to see River Song, Alex Kingston, brought in as the Doctor. But that never materialized. But that's who's to say that maybe we revisit it. Maybe it's not a proper Doctor. Maybe it's River Song. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay.
Well,
anyway,
that's the next question: is who? Where do you think they're going with the new Doctor? We don't really know, and it's usually someone that they pull out, off of the BBC somewhere. They're doing something else. But
hey, I'd never heard of Peter Capaldi before he became the Doctor. Now
I've seen him in some stuff.
He's been in a myriad of stuff.
My introduction to Peter Capaldi was in the zombie movie World War Z. He was in World War Z, and I remember someone saying that's the next Doctor Who, and it's like it is. Okay.
Well, and he couldn't have been any better when he was on. He was actually he became very quickly one of my favorite Doctors. I think of course, my first Doctor was Tom Baker. And then I think my favorite is Tennant, and
Yeah.
then Matt Smith, and then Capaldi. I think he's up there. He nailed the character if they just done away
Oh,
with
yeah.
those stupid
I like
sunglasses.
Eccleston. I liked
Eccleston was
I
pretty
liked
good.
the War
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah, you know, so when they got Jody Whittaker, you know how everybody's always been talking about, you know, we need to see a doctor of color or, you know, or woman and all this stuff. They did say that they had a black actor. They won't say who it was, but he turned it down. He said it wasn't the right time for him.
Oh,
But they won't
but
say
you don't
who it
know
was.
who it is.
They won't say who it was.
Well, during the Jody
I've-
Whittaker tenure, they did introduce a black doctor.
Yes, they did.
That's true.
They did. They did.
So, you know,
Yeah.
who's to say that maybe
Yeah.
we get her back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of like
it's-
Loki. That's the kind of thing that's neat about Doctor Who is that they can make anyone that character,
Yeah.
and it's very much within continuity. That was something. I mean, that was
you-
brilliance. That was brilliant idea back in the '60s
Yeah.
that they said, "Hey, you know, it is the same character, but it's just a new face." You know,
Yeah.
Right.
that's a pretty neat. You know, that was a pretty neat way of addressing that back then. And so, you know, look, there's plenty of time for everyone to be the Doctor, you know, if you're looking for representation or whatever. And I think that 95% of the people out there don't care as long as you give,
Mhm.
as long as you put the story, you know, you just pick
As
well
long as the
and
story's
have
good.
the stories be
Yeah.
great.
If you could live through the Sylvester McCoy days of Doctor Who,
Those were lean.
you
those
can
were lean years.
absolutely live.
I saw
through
him. I saw him
anything
at a convention. He
Doctor
was
Who presents.
hilarious.
So
Really?
Yeah, he was at
Um,
a Comic-Con years ago.
Yeah.
And he stole the security guy's golf cart before the show opened on a Saturday, and was flying through all the aisles.
Wow.
Just
I've got
Just
my picture with
crazy.
McCoy. I've got my picture with a lot of the doctors, but man, it's just he was so. There's a reason the series ended on his watch. Let me put it that way.
I've got a suggestion for the Doctor, and you guys may not even know who it is. You're going to be the Doctor, Steve?
I would like to formally announce tonight that BBC has not contacted me to be the Doctor.
Man, they're not going to, unless it's going to be on Fox again. You're not going to get a yank. You're not going to get a yank in the role of the Doctor.
Hey,
You know,
I could
that's
win a
probably not gonna
shanky for
happen.
that role.
You could win a shaky for that.
You could.
When are you creating those, man?
I'm
You need to be
waiting.
handing those out.
I'm
it's gonna
I'm
happen.
waiting on a Hong Kong action cinema Doctor Who. That's what I'm waiting on.
yeah,
Wow.
That would be
directed by
awesome.
John Woo, of course.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
Okay, so here's the name that I'm going to throw out.
Donnie Yen.
I don't know if you guys know this guy, Richard Ayo. Do you know him?
No, the name sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. I don't know who it is, but
He was in the It crowd.
Oh, is it Ayo?
Ayoed.
Ayo. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He's got a very unusual delivery and an
oh
unusual
yes,
voice.
yes.
And
yes.
he's
Right, is all
actually
get
in
out.
Yeah,
that new movie called The Bad Guys.
Yeah.
He's in that movie, and he's been in some other animated films as well. And if you saw him or heard him, you would know who I'm talking about. I think he would be an interesting pick for that role.
He was actually rumored when they announced Jody Whittaker. He was like,
Was he?
oh yeah, he was like 4 to 5
he was
under
rumored.
the odds.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's so awkward, you know, and you know, tall and thin. He's just got the look, and he's got the delivery.
Yeah, I
and,
agree.
And he has the ability. He's also very sharp. He does a lot of production and writing and stuff. He would be a good get for.
He'd
I
be
think
awesome.
for that
I
character.
still think
Yeah.
he'd be perfect.
I think he'd be a good pick for that sort of
Agreed.
thing. And then like my crazy pick for that would be Matt Berry, who is in.
Oh, that's not happening. That's not happening.
No.
I mean,
I want to
he
put
was
that guy
also
in
the IT
everything.
crowd.
Yeah.
Also in the
Also
IT
in the
crowd.
IT crowd, but
And-
and what is it? Toast of London, which, by the way,
Toast
if
of
you've never
London.
seen that series, is
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes,
but
and a bunch of other crazy ass
I
things.
find it very hard to think
He's
that
in-
would take place.
He's in What We Do in the Shadows. That's what he's
Yes.
mostly
Oh
known
yeah,
for.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that guy's brilliant.
I think that's. I love that idea. I don't think it'll
that's
happen.
just my crazy pick. But anyway, my pick actually would be Richard Ayoade. I think that would he would.
I'm absolutely with you on that one. I think.
You know what? I would not be surprised if that's the actor who said it wasn't time yet.
Really? Well, maybe it's time.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
absolutely
love-
time.
I would love if I picked that.
Let me help you out. If he became the Doctor, suddenly all of Britain is back on board with Doctor Who. BBC will pump all kinds of crazy money into that series, not like they don't already, but their special effects still suck. But yeah,
it is
I mean,
a little
the fan base, you've got the IT crowd. Everybody that's watched that show will be like, "Oh, hey, I know that dude," and back in, you've built your fan base back immediately.
Yeah.
I will probably watch religiously if that happens.
Let me throw some comments out here and give Ashell some props. She says the Michael. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Nope.
Oh, that's a good. Hey, that's a good.
We did that one. Yeah, it is.
That's not the one. Where is our comment here?
It's right under that one.
It's right underneath that one.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, thank you. It's just me on the board, folks. Ashell says, Steve, I built the TARDIS. It holds DVDs and books. Do you know what she's talking about?
I've seen something similar, and I've seen plans for it. I'm hoping that she built them by the same plans, because if she did, then that's freaking cool.
It is. She has literally built a TARDIS bookshelf, and it is awesome. Did we lose Steve?
We lost Steve.
He got so excited that he blew out his computer.
He's frozen in excitement there. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's just dreaming about.
He's
like,
share the picture of that TARDIS bookshelf on Facebook, and we'll make sure that Steve sees it when he reconstitutes.
I'll have to do a screen cap and put on there the vapors.
Wow.
I've got the vapors.
Damon says Doctor Strange meets Doctor Who. Who are you? Who the hell are you?
That's a good one.
Oh, hey, here's Jerry.
There, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh.
Hey, Jerry.
He's beamed back in. Hello to Jerry.
My Wi-Fi just decided it wanted to take a break.
Wow. So Damon says that the guy who turned it down was Samuel L. Jackson.
That's
funny. That's very funny.
Yeah. That would be good.
I feel like illustrating that. So
I'm not going to try to.
Oh my god! That'd
be and what's his name's trench coat and the scarf. Hey Todd, what's up?
Apple and Onion.
Yeah, he's in
Apple
on
that as well. And Todd says that he is awesome. Yeah. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that guy. He's one of my favorite guys too, and it would be a lot of fun to see him in that role. I think he would bring a lot to the deal, and I think that he would decimate the naysayers. Anyone who had any sort of issues with the color of his skin, for God's sakes, it's 2022. Seriously, are we? Is that even going to be a discussion? I think that even people who have some sort of issue, I think that he would blow them away with his version of and bring a lot of people back. They're bringing Russell T Davies back as the showrunner. He was the guy during the Tennant era, and who has, been hailed as, the golden age or whatever of Doctor Who. I don't know. The problem with bringing him back is, can he do it again? I don't know. He's certainly highly competent, but did he blow his wad on the last? I mean, he had it for 3 or 4 years. Can he carry it on? I don't know.
If he can pull a good creative staff together.
Hey, when Stephen Moffat left the series, that hurt more than anything. I mean,
I know that people hated Stephen Moffat by the end for some reason, but I thought his stuff was really, really good.
I'll tell you why I'll tell you exactly why they
Please,
did this,
yeah.
because he spent so much time between Sherlock and Doctor Who that it seemed all of his attention, everybody in the universe thought that he was spending so much time on Sherlock
On
and dedicating
Sherlock?
so much attention there.
Which also was brilliant.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
That he was ignoring Doctor Who. So they were just like, all right, if you're not going to
That's what it
concentrate on it,
was.
get somebody else in here that's going to
I
dedicate
can
their
kind of
lives
understand
to it.
that. I can kind of understand them saying that because
The
you know, I
frustration.
really enjoyed Sherlock.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching both at the time, so you know, I didn't think the show suffered that much with him splitting his duties up between the two shows.
I didn't either.
You know,
I mean,
because
look
I mean,
at-
it's a whole different set of actors, and
Yeah,
you know,
right.
at the end of the
I mean-
episode of Sherlock, he didn't zip away to the next
Yeah,
episode. You know,
Let's look at Norman Lear back in the day.
Right.
oh yeah,
Good.
Oh.
Perfect example.
I mean, how many shows did he do at the same time?
Trillions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were all
Well,
good.
yeah, or
And they were all
Yeah.
good. They were all
or even Gary
good.
Marshall did the same thing. He had multiple shows going.
You know, if they have the right take on the stuff, then they can take a boardroom full of writers and put them in the right direction and can create a winning series.
Well, when they brought Doctor Who back in 2005 with Eccleston, you had Stephen Moffat as producer and Russell Davis as the writer. And that series could not have been any better written than when those guys were at the helm.
Yeah,
It was really good.
But
It was really
then,
good.
then
Yeah, that
Davis,
first season was great.
oh yeah, then Davis left and Stephen Moffat was left on his own. Well, he wanted to work on other projects, so he started on Sherlock. Well, you got an 8 episode season of Sherlock. You've got an 8 episode season of Doctor Who. You can't possibly think that would be that much of an overload. But that was what he said, is that is too much. So that's when he started, knocking on the doors of other writers to say, hey, can you help me out? And that's when he got a hold of Chibnall, and even Chibnall has said it's too much. So he started enlisting the help of Ella Road, who, by the way, the episodes that she either wrote or co-wrote during this season have been fantastic. But you leave Chibnall to his own devices, and you're going to wind up with a train wreck.
He just had the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's very clear.
And Jody Whittaker paid the price for it, in my opinion.
Absolutely, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Absolutely, she did. I feel bad for her. And by the way, I really like the companions too. I like all the companions.
Yeah.
You don't like the companions.
Jody Whittaker's companions
No.
were terrible.
Oh, wow. You didn't like the
Terrible.
I got a kick out of the companions.
Tosin Cole should never have been on this show to begin with. The guy that played his dad should never have been on this show to begin with. The only one that should ever have had even a partial opportunity was Mandip Gill. Yaz. She should have been the companion from day one.
Just her.
Yeah, and if they brought in, what's his name? Something Bishop. Dan Bishop? Dan? I don't remember. But it's because he's so irrelevant, I block him out.
I've heard that they're going to very soon have some of the older companions show up for this new series, which I think is quite interesting.
Ace and Tegan are coming back from the Sylvester McCoy era, by the way.
How about that?
I was overwhelmed with that news. I think that's awesome.
I think it's neat too. They got a lot of history. Seriously, what besides Doctor Who has that kind of history?
Ultraman.
Way back in a second.
Well, yeah.
Simpsons.
The Simpsons was on before television, I think.
Yeah. The Simpsons. Gosh.
Who would have thought that the Simpsons would be the one?
We need a Doctor Who episode of the Simpsons and a Simpsons episode of Doctor Who.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
How about that crossover? All right. We're going to go to the next subject and try to get through it as quick as possible. Damon wants Neil to go.
Sorry, my battery on my iPad was dying.
Dude, I got to be honest. I am on board with this, but it'll never happen. While I love Neil deGrasse Tyson and every word that comes out of that man's mouth, He'll
He's
never
not
be.
an actor. He's
Speaking
not
of Neil deGrasse Tyson, I've mentioned this before, but Gravity Falls, the animated show, Disney show, there's one where he makes a guest voice appearance, and it's where they make their pet pig smart, and he's the voice of the smart.
That's cool.
And it is a great episode. I highly recommend you watch the show. There's a lot of guest voices on there. What's her name? Who plays Hawkeye's wife is one of the voices in there.
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah.
No, that's not. Oh, no. I just spaced it. I know her name.
Yeah.
Let me get to these two subjects here. I'm going to do them quick. This is kind of in honor of Walt. This May, the spiritual sequel to their Shin Takatsu series, encapsulating first Godzilla and then soon Kamen Rider. Right, Shin Ultraman will finally hit theaters in Japan, following multiple delays. But our latest look at the movie makes it clear that it will be worth the wait. They've released a new trailer for Shin Ultraman, giving us some tantalizing teases of both Toku action and some more human drama, of course, the latter with an alien ultra twist, of course. Has anyone seen the little trailer for Shin Ultraman?
It's beautiful.
I have been driving Sean nuts with when is Shin Ultraman coming out? When's it coming out? Is it this weekend? Are we getting Shin Ultraman?
Oh, I've never even been a huge Ultraman fan. I'll watch it, but I've never been a huge fan. But the only reason I think I ever knew about it is from osmosis from Walt. But man, this looks amazing.
It looks amazing. All I can say is if you haven't watched Shin Godzilla, watch Shin Godzilla.
Absolutely, must watch.
It's a must watch. I can't even get that out of my
must watch.
Anyway, watch it. You'll enjoy the special effects. It's probably one of the best Japanese monster movie special effects. I mean, Godzilla looks like a costume Godzilla, but it's all CGI.
Yeah, it's cool.
And when he breathes his laser breath for the first time, it is the most awesome scene.
It is orgasmic.
It is the most awesome Godzilla scene. Yeah, wow. Yeah. When you're done, you're doing this.
Exactly. The destruction in that movie is insane.
Yeah, it's and the fact that they're making a Shin universe with Kamen Rider and there's one other one. It's Godzilla, Ultraman, and something else, Kamen Rider and something else. And we haven't seen Ultraman and Godzilla together in anything since '66, where there was a collared lizard monster that Ultraman had to fight and kill, which all they did was put a big lizard collar around the Godzilla costume.
Like a cone of shame for Godzilla.
And the story behind that is that if I can pronounce the name correctly, Tetsuya Bara or whatever, he was the designer of Godzilla, the original Godzilla costume for Toho. Mm-hmm. And then he went on to produce his own production company, which gave us Ultraman. So there's always been this kind of a collective between Toho and Tetsubara.
If you haven't seen the trailer for this thing, go check it out. I will say that on the strength of Shin Godzilla alone, I'm very excited about this, this iteration. And if you haven't seen Shin Godzilla, it is a must watch. You really must get over there.
Right? It is the same director from
Is
Shin.
it? I don't know, possibly.
Because if you're a Neon Genesis Evangelion fan,
they did mention him.
That's the director of Shin Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
wow. Okay. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't get that.
Higuchi.
Yeah, because
that explains a lot.
Because there's Evangelion music in Shin Godzilla.
Okay, that explains a lot. Shin Godzilla is, if you haven't seen it, it's not just a monster movie. It is a very, very interesting take on the politics of Japan. I mean, and not that's not a joke. I mean, it's like they explain kind of how things, how Japan deals with disasters and
Disaster response
through this movie. And it's kind of two movies. It's also equally fascinating to watch these people kind of figure out how they're going to deal with this situation.
Are they blaming Godzilla on Fukushima?
Right. Well, right. They do.
the whole thing.
They have a very, I mean,
they do their version of what happened.
Absolutely is in that movie for sure. Yes.
I mean, it's a true Godzilla movie. If you recall, the very first Godzilla movie is basically about the atomic bomb.
Sure.
Okay.
And
that's true.
And Shin Godzilla is about the tsunami.
It is.
And
the action scenes, it's not wall-to-wall action or anything. Which makes it interesting. But once they get to the action, holy cats, it is really wonderful.
When Godzilla releases his atomic breath the first time,
I'm telling you,
I'm sitting there going, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Oh!"
And it looks like they're doing the same thing with Ultraman. Let me also get to this topic, which is tangential. According to reports, there will be 3 primary initiatives driving Toho's company's animation business. This was just announced. They're going to first do active investment in planning and development. That is, the company will focus on acquiring existing animation rights as well as developing its own original properties. The second thing is overseas. They're looking at planning to set up bases and begin marketing its content in North America, while also opening pathways to begin co-producing with foreign partners. Very interesting. And finally, utilizing digital media, Toho will expand its original product development to smartphone apps, games, and other interactive content based on its animated properties. How about that?
It's been I have seen some Toho produced animated movies back in the day, and they haven't done much in a while. So
how do you have to wonder with the vertical integration of everything that is killing it right now, what's taken Toho so long to go, hey, maybe we ought to get into this.
That Godzilla series on Netflix is awesome.
It is awesome.
Well,
it's not just that.
The Ultraman series on Netflix is
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And what was the thing with the robot that had like a team with them or something? They called it Godzilla, but it was not Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla kind of shows
Mecha Godzilla?
No.
Or no? Oh, I know what you're talking about. In the animated, in that latest animated series, the little team that had the Jet Jaguar.
Jet Jaguar,
yeah.
That's what it should have been called, is Jet Jaguar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But they leaned on everyone knows Godzilla, but that Jet Jaguar team was awesome.
Yeah.
Jet Jaguar.
That was so good, the way that they built those people up and the way that they explained,
and that little Godzilla universe was really interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what they're doing there is really cool. So anyway, welcome to the party, pal.
Need more Toho. Need more Toho.
Well, hey, Walter, did you start watching season 2 of Ultraman on Netflix?
I did start watching.
That just yesterday they announced season 3.
Oh, really?
They've already released a trailer for it.
Wow.
So I was sitting there, first, just seeing the still picture of all the added Ultraman there. I'm sitting there going, okay, I want to know who the big guy is. And then I find out who it is. And I'm like, that's cool, because that is actually the Ultraman when they had Return of Ultraman. That's the third Ultraman. And then you have Ultraman Ace and Ultraman Taro in there. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just smiling, big cheese eating grin on my face as they're introducing all these other Ultraman.
All right. I got to ask the panel, are you guys ready to kind of bring it home and go to On Blast, or do you want my stealth topic?
What's your stealth topic?
Whoa, hit us
What's your
with the
stealth,
man?
You guys are in on that? Oh, Mike is gone. I said stealth topic and he dropped off.
You can't see him. He's stealth.
It's like stealth topic.
I feel that pain.
We will not have a stealth topic. I can get this thing started without Mike. He'll be back in a second.
Uh-oh.
Here's the stealth topic. Are you ready?
You ready,
Walter?
Ready.
I'm ready.
Go.
Top Gun. Have you seen I know. See, that's why I wanted to look at Steve. Look at Steve is losing his mind right now. Have you seen the footage for Top Gun? Are you excited about it?
Yeah.
Is it a big deal?
You know what? I'm excited and not excited. Here's the reason why I'm not excited.
Shut up, Walt.
And the reason why I'm not excited. No, I'm excited and not excited all at the same time. I'm like, can you just stop teasing me and just bring out the damn movie?
I'm kind of right there with you. We're going on 3
Walt,
years.
2 years, 2 years. Oh, 3 years. That's right. Yeah.
It's going on 3 years. It's going on 3 years.
Yeah.
Just release the damn movie so I can go see it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's funny you say stealth topic. I'm pretty sure that you picked that out on purpose.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Yeah.
Because they let that slip in one of the early trailers. But I'm not going to see the movie for the drama.
You want to see that? Look,
I'm not going for the drama. I'm going for the footage.
The funny thing is, like Sean and I watched a trailer the other night, and what it was is a compilation. It was two things. Number one, it was like a kind of a behind the scenes documentary where they talk to all of the actors because they know that this is the draw. The draw is they've got these damn actors, including Tom Cruise and everyone else, on actual jets, and they're actually filming in the air. And the footage that they have is not CGI. It's actual footage that they have coming off of aircraft carriers, that they have going, flying through tunnels and doing barrel rolls and all, and their actual reaction to this stuff. That is the sales pitch for this, is that they're going to,
exactly
like an IMAX documentary, they're going to put you in the pilot seat of actual, fighter jets. And,
See,
you and I have seen that IMAX film.
Yeah.
We saw that in Arizona.
Yes, exactly.
Intense.
Where they come out and tell you to lean forward so you don't throw up during the film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
When I was in the last time I was, or one of the times I was in Vegas, I went and watched the Red Flag IMAX movie.
Oh, it's so cool.
Wow.
My aviation.
Let's get Steve in here before he busts. Man.
Okay, yeah.
The floor is yours, sir.
I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for this. I mean, this is something that I've been waiting for so long. I mean, the Top Gun 2 has been in the works, or has been in rumorville for ever since 1986 in my world, and nothing ever will top the footage from that movie. Volleyball scene aside, everything else about that movie,
and the locker room scene,
and the romance, the cheesiness of the romance bit.
Yeah,
take that and throw it out the door. Everything else about that movie was amazing. It was innovative. It was awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping. The soundtrack, as cheesy as it sounds now, it doesn't hold up. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
No.
But if the soundtrack then was stinking amazing.
All right.
I have my own memories of that because I remember, being the band nerd that I am. I did have the trumpet solo for "Take My Breath Away."
Wow!
And because we did the medley, the Top Gun medley, we did all the songs. And I had the trumpet solo for "Take My Breath Away."
Right before COVID hit, I went and saw Berlin in concert here in Dallas.
Man, yeah.
When Terry Nunn, when the lights went down and there was just this purple light on her, and she started singing "Take My Breath Away," I was a puddle. I was a puddle on the floor. And so, that's all there was to it. And so, obviously they're going to reprise that in some fashion for this show. Kenny Loggins has already announced that he's doing a reprise of
cool.
Danger Zone.
Why not?
Okay, that's
absolutely
cool.
You can't not. Just don't show him because you'd think it was an alien visiting.
And you know what? And it's good that Kenny Loggins is still around to be able to do that.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm a Kenny Loggins fan, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, I just read an article about all the footage and all the permissions that the production had to go through with cooperation with the Navy, with the armed forces in general, including potential spoiler alert, NASA. So, let's hold on to that for a little bit.
He's definitely flying like experimental aircraft.
Yeah,
but which is interesting, at least at the beginning.
Which leads me to think that there will be some CGI involved. There will have to be because, as you've all seen in the trailer, there's an F-14 that does a barrel roll. No. No F-14s on the planet are airworthy except for in Iran and.
Well, no, there is one. Oh, there is one operating F-14 for air shows.
Negative. That sale never went through. It's not a done deal. Nope, they can't do it. It's against government regulation because of the fact that a rogue nation, Iran, has F-14s. If any of those parts fall into that hands, then no good. There's just no source for parts for them. So yeah, that will never happen, unfortunately. Thanks,
Mike,
Iran.
Any thoughts on Top Gun?
Well, my opinions on Tom Cruise has changed over the years. I think the movie itself will be fine. It'll be nice to see he's only one of the few people returning from the original. But I'll go see it. I mean, I enjoyed the first one.
They're alluding to the other people, though. They're not pretending like they don't exist.
Iceman will be in there.
Iceman will be back. We don't
really. You think he'll be in it?
Yeah. Well, they did talk about that. There's an article I read recently. Because Val Kilmer had throat cancer and can't talk anymore, so they actually sampled stuff from all his other movies.
Wow.
And he will voice it, but the electronic version will be the actual voice for the film.
That's very interesting
because that was how bad they wanted him in the sequel.
Yeah. And according to the photos, he's going to be an admiral.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
The guy who plays what's his name, son, Goose's son. I was telling Sean, it's like that guy looks like he could be Goose's son.
Absolutely.
They kind of have a similar face,
He's got the pimp
which
staff.
is pretty. That helps a lot too. That helps a lot too to kind of put him in that deal. I think that the footage alone is enough reason to go see the movie. I mean, and I'm ready to get it on too.
If it's at the IMAX, I'm going to see it.
You have to see it.
I'm going to see it on the biggest screen that there is for this movie.
Yes.
Yes.
No. I really want to watch it on this 27-inch one I have here at the apartment. So nothing captures that in magnificence like a tiny TV. Really hard.
I could put it on 150 inches here at my house. So
Ooh.
I do have a projector screen. So
hello.
Hey, I will say this: when the movie first came out, when the original movie first came out, it made its theater run. Pepsi made all of those commercials just on the inverted bit alone. I don't know if everybody remembers.
Sure,
and he poured
the
cup out. So I mean, just from advertising alone, they made a killing. But the footage in that thing, the footage in the new one, when I first saw the trailer,
the teaser
came.
I lost my image.
I'm not into aviation like you are, but like when the original footage was Tom Cruise coming off of a carrier.
Yes. And
I turned to whoever was around, and I'm like, was that real? That felt real.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was really on that. And then of course they started saying, this is really it. That they put them on real jets and they're flying these guys around, which is crazy. But you can tell it's real.
Yeah, the benefit of both the planes the planes that they flew in the original, those were F-14s, 2-seaters. So they put him in the back seat with the camera on him. So it made him look like, they hit the guy up front that was actually flying the plane, right?
Right.
They did the same thing here. There is a 2-seater version of the F-18, the F-18F. So they put him in the back seat of that and made it look like an F-18E, which is a single-seater. Put the camera just right so that it made it look like, of course, he's making all the motions, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But dang, they nailed it.
They said that they kind of had to direct themselves because obviously you don't have the director that's up there in the jet.
They actually do. There's a guy up there in a private jet, in a business jet, that is literally filming, talking. It's amazing. If you ever read the book,
it's great stuff.
Speaking of tangents, but damn it, well, Dirk, it's your fault that if you ever read the book Top Gun Days, it's a descriptor of this guy's journey from the beginning and the creation of Top Gun all the way to his participation in the filming of the movie, and it's fascinating. And it'll also give you a little insight also as to how they did this one, because it's I took the day off. So
it's May the 27th.
22nd. I hope I took the right day off.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I knew it was in late May.
Yeah. May 27th. That's right.
27th.
Yeah, I took the right day.
All right. All right. We're moving on to On Blast. Here it comes. Sorry, man, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I did that on purpose. I was just trying to sneak it in.
I figured that's what I thought because I heard it just as it clicked over.
I mean, literally, at my entire 2022 is built around. Well, obviously, Highlander's not coming out in 2022, but my entire couple of next year movies are Top Gun and Highlander.
Yeah,
I'm in on that. Let's see who wants to go first here. Let's go to Mike first on Blast. Just tell us kind of some things that maybe you've been watching or reading or playing lately.
Well, in just the past few days, as a matter of fact, I finally got up on my superhero movie. So I did see Spider-Man 4 finally. I was really pleased with
What'd
that.
you think?
I liked it. I really, I almost felt the pacing originally looked like we weren't going to get enough of the Peters, and then didn't surprise we pulled it all in and it wasn't chaotic. I love Alfred Molina's take this time on Dr. Octopus. I didn't like the Aunt May solution. That was kind of a bummer.
Right.
But I liked how the end wrapped up. It's almost too much like a Marvel comic ending in some ways.
Right.
But yeah, the movie on the whole, was very well handled. So I was pleased with that. And it alluded towards Multiverse of Madness, which was good, and it didn't get too crazy on it. And then last night, like a shell, I watched Batman. It was better than I expected. I'm not a big Robert Pattinson fan. I like the fact that his Bruce Wayne persona was very little on screen. I like the fact that they went more the detective route. That Reeves did that.
Yes,
because that's really kind of one of the aspects that from Keaton through Bale and even through Affleck hinted at it but never really covered it. But that was kind of the big thing that they never. I mean, they even called him the world's greatest detective in the movie at that point. So they covered their bases on that, and the pacing was great. Paul Dano, I think, as the Riddler was as usual. They hired someone to be a great villain, and that was one that I did least person to expect to be a good villain. And when he did that final rant before the seawall fell, sorry, spoilers were, and he went off into a Frank Gorshin run on that video, that last video, it just sent chills. I was like, this is freaking awesome. Yeah. I had wished that they had not cut out the bit at Arkham at the end with the Riddler and the Joker talking and them laughing at the end. That was kind of a letdown. We're going to tease you for the next one.
Right.
But it was better than I planned. But it still wasn't, like Michelle said, it wasn't the best Batman movie, like a lot of people have said. I know I've watched on social media several former Batman writers have also expressed responses to the film. So I kind of agreed with them a little bit. That's the movies I've watched. Like I said, Our Flag Means Death, great series. Definitely check it out. Picard last week was a really good episode. I'm kind of waiting to see how they wrap it all up. Moon Knight, like all Marvel series, there's only one episode that's a little slow.
Right.
But they're already talking that this episode tomorrow night is going to make up for it. So I'm kind of jazzed about that. Reading wise, I really haven't read a whole lot lately. Hang on. I did run into our friend Fred Keel about 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He was doing a signing, surprisingly, at a comic shop.
I invited him on the show.
Yeah, and I talked to him a little bit about that.
He doesn't have Tuesday nights open.
No, if you follow him on Facebook, he's got crap going on all the time.
Yeah.
So and he just finished doing the Comic Expo in Arlington that was last weekend. So, but when I saw him at Strategy Comics in Irving,
yep.
Place for my apartment, he had 0 issues of Queen Cobra, so I decided to go ahead and grab it.
Cool.
It's not bad, it's a pretty decent little story.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of a preview. If you're already reading Queen Cobra, you need this to kind of tie into the rest of the series. So cool. This was his alternate cover that he did. So it's real nice, and signed it to me, of course.
Yeah, nice.
But Fred's a great person to talk to. If you haven't ever met him, it's great. I finished up Fight Girl series on the show.
Yeah.
That was a good little series. I'm not going to be your Scott, or I'm going to trim up the new stuff pretty quick. And then I started reading. We'll flip it over. I started reading.
If we all do the full Scott, we won't be out here before midnight.
No. I don't talk that much. You know me. I don't talk that much. So the Black and White and Blood Electra series number 3 just came out, and I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm planning on that. These are pretty good. Nice little anthology with stories. I've got Greg Land did the art on a couple of them, but they're all black and white, so it's really sharp looking. So cool. I recommend this. This is good. 3 issues are out. Yeah. And then if you haven't, Captain Carter, I got to go this week and pick up.
Cool.
2 just came out. This is pretty good. Okay, it loosely alludes to What If. Where's his name? Guy named Cresta. Not familiar with him, but it's pretty good art. So, but yeah, I picked that up and I enjoyed that. That was a pretty good read. Cool. So, it helps expand out the storyline. And then that's all the new stuff. And then of course, we talked about and hinted at earlier before the show that old school stuff.
I can't believe that.
Nice.
The run of Space 1999 from Carlton Comics.
What is that?
Carlton.
The guys that brought us Blue Beetle, Captain Atom,
Peacemaker.
Cool.
Basically, the people who created the Watchmen before Alan Moore created Watchmen.
Right.
So
that's a great cover, man. I like
these are great. Keaton did the early issues with Nicola Cutie. And then this was number 2. And these were all painted covers for the first 2 issues by Staten. And then number 3 is right where John Byrne, who was coming off of their fanzine, came onto the art. So, and this is a painted cover by Byrne. So early work.
Amazing.
And then this one, and this one right here.
Really good.
This is my favorite cover of the series.
Yeah, it's
has such a great Martin Landau.
It is
on the eagle, and this is actually. Where did I get these?
Where did you get these?
Well, I found these at a show about 2 years ago. The whole run, and they're in great condition too.
I'm about to say they look like they're in great condition.
So, I think I paid probably less than $20 for the whole set.
Oh my gosh!
Jeez!
So,
what?
Yeah. Well, I'm a shopper. But because think about it. Really, the only people that are going to collect these are Space 1999 fans.
I know.
And early John Byrne work, because this is all prior to his work at Marvel, not by much.
Right.
And this one, the last cover here in the series,
that's
this
cool.
was a Havoc issue.
Who?
I love that one.
Pat Boyd, who he used to do
Okay, yeah,
pretty
Patrick.
much. He did a lot of the horror comics for Carlton at the time. He did the Phantom right after Jim Aparo left. So this is a great cover. I've never been a huge fan of his art, but this cover was that's made
pretty awesome.
So
That's nice.
And it was a good wrap up of that. And then I showed you this is one of the British annuals, which were just reprints of the Carlton series.
I see.
And I found this. Oh, I got this from Paul McFadden, who's based here in Dallas. And he gets some of the weirdest, unusual, weird books like this one. And he and I usually trade stuff because I usually find stuff he wants. And so I traded this. And I got some of the DC Famous First Edition hardcovers that were they just did a real limited print run of those. And so we traded for some books. He had a book I really wanted, and I had a book he really wanted, but we couldn't come to a deal. I had the first Mad Magazine hardcover collection. Had all the insert records, glasses, everything. Still had its dust jacket and everything. And he had a limited edition Cycle of the Werewolf hardcover.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Written by Stephen King, of course, amazing illustrations by Wrightson, signed by both of them.
Oh, what?
Limited to less than 100 copies.
Man,
And that was just above the line on what he would trade for.
Wow.
So he didn't get the Mad Magazine book, and I didn't get the Cycle Werewolf. Plus, if I had cash, it would have been almost $1,000 to buy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, then again, just because of the limited. So, but even the, we were talking about Kickstarter stuff. Stephen King wrote that story for a publisher specifically to be printed by them. And they're doing. They did a limited edition trade paperback and a limited edition hardcover. And the hardcover went for $450. That was brand new when it came out. But there and again, they published probably less than 1,000 copies of it. So, but it was just a deal for just that publisher that King did an arrangement with. So yeah, we try to get good stuff every once in a while, but
let me take a little, since we got the spotlight on you for just a minute.
No.
One of the things that I thought was interesting about having Scott Sackett on last weekend is that he mentioned how you made him think, hey, maybe I could do comics, and that you were the talk of the school that he went to,
Platt. Yeah,
and
graduated from there too in the
what's
production
that
art program. I had graduated from the production art program about a year and a half before he came onto the system. So
I will also say, to add to that, you're the person that made me think maybe I could be doing some comic book stuff, right? I mean, I was into comics and but you were there producing Chuck the Barbaric and Heroines Incorporated and all this stuff, and showing up at these things back in the late 80s. And I would, hang around the table when you were talking to people or doing sketches and doing all that stuff and absorbing, the atmosphere and the fact that you were producing comic. I mean, this is long before Kickstarter, long before, the internet and on-demand printing. And I mean, you would go down to Kinko's and would, get these things run off and stapled and,
Kinko's.
Oh yeah.
and give them directly to the public and stuff. I think that if you were someone who was in the Oklahoma City, or let's just say Oklahoma area, Mike, I think that you deserve to get some credit for bringing in a whole generation of people.
Oh, thanks.
Definitely.
Who maybe loved comics, but never considered, hey, I too could create comics. And I think that you're the person that introduced a lot of people. And it's not just that. Your involvement with Rough Cut, you bringing people in through the comic book store and giving them a location where they could talk about stuff or could sell the stuff. I think that you, Mike Kennedy, deserve to get the credit for bringing in a whole, 20 years of a generation of people into, being interested in doing comics, not just this crowd right here, but, crowd far beyond even that. I mean, we talked to Scott, who also believed that. I just want you to get the credit for that, and hopefully sometime we'll maybe get someone like Matt to write an article or something on you, and maybe get a few people to talk about maybe how you didn't just do your own thing, you helped other people get into comics, creating comics.
Thanks. I'm a good cheerleader. So I'm getting ready to do that with my advanced art class. We're getting ready to they're gonna, a few of them do draw comics in class, and they do a very comic or a manga style. So I'm gonna give them their their finals assignment is they're gonna do a 3-page story, and they can do it either in manga or in traditional comic art style. So I'm gonna hand them out. We've got one project they're finishing up right now, and then I will take those people aside and I will walk them through a sequential art sequence. I'm going to take one of my old scripts that has not been published, and we're going to go through and I'm going to restructure it and do the panel continuity and descriptions, so they'll know what to put in, because that has been a couple questions that have come up. I don't know how to do this, but they've got great comic style. They understand. And so I'm going to walk them through how to walk it through the Will Eisner way, because that's the one I still believe is the best system for sequential art.
Still works.
That's what Frank Miller learned. So that's why he was such a good friend of Eisner. That's why every time I saw Eisner at a convention, I made sure to go and talk to him. Because he literally wrote the Bible. It was his finger.
It was always easy to go talk to that guy too, because he wasn't like
so accessible.
The Image guys or something where you had to stand in a line for 40 minutes to talk to him for 40 seconds. You could literally walk right up to Will Eisner, and I did it. I did it in San Diego. Talk to the guy who wrote the book on storytelling, and he was very much accessible.
And they've reissued that book, and it's a more modern age version of the same material, right? And I did a workshop last summer, and that was the book with the cost of tuition. They got a copy of the book, and and I hadn't looked. I still brought my original, which was the revised edition from the 1990s, right? That he published before he passed away, and just to thumb through both books, it's an interesting take, because they still keep the meat and potatoes of the book, the original, and didn't glitz and glamour it out, which was good. Right. But they used a lot more material, not from the Spirit specifically, but with contract with God and the neighborhood. Some of his best work. Sure. I think his graphic novels, when he stopped doing Spirit, is where he really shined as a storyteller. And it was his life. That's what he was writing about, was his neighborhood in New York and people that he knew. The one that he wrote during the war is a really good one if you've not seen that one. That and his experiences overseas. And just all of that, because those characters just have so much, they're so real. In the story, how they emote and how they're drawn and how they're lit, everything is there. It's it's the full package. The only person that's close to him is Sean Martinborough. Okay, he's a DC artist. He's also done some Kickstarter projects as well. He did a run of Batman in the back of Detective Comics that was outstanding, and then he did a book called Drawing Noir Comics. and it reminded me so much of the Eisner stuff. So naturally, the minute I saw it, I bought it. Didn't even think. I just threw money at the cashier and said, "Here, I'm just going to take this with me." It's a great one. There's also for anatomy now, a guy named Michael Hampton, which is really weird because I went to high school with Michael Hampton, no relation. Did this great book on human anatomy. Okay, he took the best of Bridgman, and he took the best of
Loomis?
Loomis and Hogarth, and combined it into this book. So there's the dynamics, there's the traditional, and there's the more modern look at anatomy and how everything's laid out.
What's
and
the
it's strictly a drawing book, huh?
Hampton, his name?
Hampton, Hampton. It's a great book. I had a professor that I was taking a painting, drawing, and illustration class, and he walked in with that book one day, and they sat down. I looked through a few pages, handed it off to the next person. Before it got to the next person down the line, I already bought a copy on Amazon. I just,
that's what's so wonderful about Amazon.
You see it. Oh yeah, it's wonderful because you see these things. You're like, now I can just, I can just go right over here. Plus, the bookstores in Albuquerque.
Right.
There's no half price bookstore there.
Wow, that's terrible.
But Amazon is the way to go on that. It is terrible.
Crime.
It is. I mean, it is nice that 2 miles away from my apartment, there's a half price books. So
all right,
I just went over there one Sunday and just walked through.
I got to get on to the next person. We'll be here all night.
All right. I know I have to go to work in the morning, so
exactly. Steve, what do you got?
Oh, I'm actually very simple this week.
Okay, simple's good.
I'm an avid model builder. Walt can tell you. And sometimes I've had stacks of models sitting in the background. I finally moved them up to my closet so that I know where to find them when I'm ready to build them. Well, this week I actually picked up one that I've been waiting for quite some time.
Wow.
Oh, that's a show and find one right there.
This is the moving edition, which means it's got it actually has a stand. I don't know if you can see it, but it actually comes with a stand with 3 buttons on it that you can motivate the wings, engine sounds, and something else. I don't know what it is.
Oh my god!
So I'm absolutely looking forward to building that. That's going to be my.
That looks amazing.
That's going to
be 2 conventions ago down here. Bandai had set up a Bandai store at the convention.
See, that would be dangerous for me.
And those did not last a day.
that would be extremely dangerous for me. The Bandai, I've got a stack of kits a mile high of all the 1/72 scale stuff that they released when the new trilogy came out.
Yeah.
Just all the classic stuff and also some of the new ones. Well, that's just, I mean, I've got more. Keith can relate. Our buddy Keith can relate in that he's got more kits than he has time to build.
Yeah,
I'm much the same way. But when the weather's right, I can actually get out in the garage and build a couple. So that's my next project. As far as watching anything, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to watch it. I started out watching Moon Knight, but I haven't really gotten to a point where I'm ready to talk about it at all. But as far as reading is concerned, I've been splitting time between an audiobook and the regular book version of John Cleese's. For all you Monty Python fans out there, I don't know if you can see that very well. It's really kind of blanking out. But
there he goes.
Anyway, his autobiography is called.
I want to write an anti-biography.
There you go.
There's your inspiration. It's born tonight. His autobiography is brilliant. I mean, I've always been a huge admirer of John Cleese just because I'm a massive Monty Python fan. Sure. Well, to hear him say it all and he narrates the audiobook. So that's kind of where I've kind of jumped off the book bandwagon because I wanted to hear him actually say it. Well, the way he presents it and the way he presents his life, it's been a fascinating life, but the whole book is just one big insight into his brain and the way Monty Python and every project that he worked on before that. So any opportunity you have to jump all over this book, and if you're a Monty Python fan, it's priceless. You have to read it.
Sounds great. All right,
that's where I'm at.
Is that it, Steve? All right. On to you, Walt.
First, I've been listening to a podcast, and I have it on the screen there.
Okay, I'll add
You want
that.
to share it?
Yep.
I heard this advertised a couple of weeks ago, and it's basically about the Attitude Era of WWE.
Oh,
Cool.
And it's the catchphrases, the 25 catchphrases that launched, and it's not just catchphrases, it's just things that were said throughout those years. And of course, chapter 2, like there's the prologue, and it kind of sets up the Attitude Era. And then chapter 2, which is awesome because it's when Stone Cold talks about when Stone Cold Steve Austin coined the phrase, the Book of Austin says, "I just whipped your ass."
Yeah.
Yeah, the Book of Austin 3:16 says, "I just whipped your ass," and it goes on from there. And it's 2 episodes in, and I listened to them both today, and I'm like, I can't wait to hear the next episode this week. And what's the next catchphrase?
That's clever.
It's if you're a wrestling fan, even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's a good insight into how wrestling in the 90s became so big, because it's the prologue really sets it up. It really sets it up because it's about Triple H and HBK.
Oh, cool.
And then the next thing that I have, you can turn that screen off there.
Okay.
Actually, I have a question on that. That's your Spotify, correct?
Yeah.
I want to know what the playlist Totally Effed sounds like.
Okay.
You're gonna have to send me a link to that.
Somebody sent me that one, so I'll send you. Somebody has asked me to send that to me. The next thing I have, and Scott's going to be jealous.
Good eye there, Steve.
What?
Scott's going to be jealous on this. I have this.
Oh,
Vault.
wow.
Oh,
A
what?
complete Transformers universe showcasing rare collectibles and memorabilia.
Ooh.
And it's a book.
Wow.
And it's in a slipcase.
Wow.
So this is the slipcase,
Holy moly.
That is nice.
it's embossed.
I was about to say that's an embossed
Yeah.
treatment, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty
And-
sweet.
And I found this. I can't believe that I haven't shown this before, because I found this years ago at Sam's of all places.
Wow.
Is that just a varnish?
That's a varnish. That's
Oh,
a
that's
spot
beautiful.
varnish.
like a
That's
spot
nice.
varnish, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And there's so much stuff in this book. I mean, look at this. It's a tech spec. And
What?
it's got a card. It's a slide out card with the little plastic thing that you put over the spec to read the.
Come on, man.
Look at this. Right here, it's got the flip out from when the toys first came out.
Oh my God.
And
what?
then this is a Japanese prototype, and it's wood.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's made out of wood. There's just so much stuff in here. So much. Like here's, some of the toys, the original toys.
Wow.
And that you have them all.
I have most of these, yes. I mean, look. Oh, I have this right here. By the way, this thing is worth about $3,000.
Oh my God.
Nice.
So there's all these things. There's even, the comics.
Oh, sick.
And one of these days, I'm going to look at this. Look at this right here. This is in here. One of these days, I'm going to scan this and I'm going to color it.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That
buddy.
looks like a blast.
Yeah,
Literally.
and it's this image right here.
That's just like an insert or something.
It's
Oh,
this
that's
image
nice.
right here. It's one of the
Oh,
posters
cool.
that I wanted, and I wasn't able to get it.
Oh wow.
So, but there's all sorts of artwork in this book.
That looks amazing.
There's many animation cells in it, and I got it for $35. I don't know how much this book is
Oh
worth.
my God. Dude.
Sweet.
Dude,
So-
y'all are finding like bargain basement type stuff.
For real.
Well, this was the sticker price, so I don't know how much it's worth now. There's
Holy cow.
There's a Japanese Beast Wars Leo convoy, which is basically Optimus Prime. He transformed into a lion. So yeah, it's just, I mean, look at this animation.
Oh, that's sick.
That is awesome.
So this book is really, really, if you can find this book and pay, cover price for it, if you can find it for cover price, please, and you're a Transformers fan, this is something you need in your collection.
I think even if you're not.
Even if you're not, yeah, because it covers everything. It covers the Japanese Transformers, because, they ran with the series. After it ended here, they ran with the series for one more season or so, another 65 episodes, and then they just kind of went off on their own tangents. They had their own Beast Wars series that was animated, and it was a multiverse thing. They were the first ones to do the multiverse thing because their Leo convoy, there's one where their Leo convoy meets up with Optimus Primal. So
Optimus Primal.
Totally worth
Primal.
the money. Totally worth the money.
What's the name of it? Oh, it's the Vault.
The Vault. Transformers Vault.
Transformers Vault.
The complete Transformers universe showcasing rare collectibles and memorabilia.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm gonna come over to your house and I'm gonna sit there for about 4 hours reading.
Take pictures like a spy of every
do
page.
whatever it is you need to do. I'm just gonna sit on your couch and read that.
And this book has a foreword by Peter Cullen, aka Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
So
super nice guy.
Awesome.
That's cool, man.
So and that's all that I have.
All right. Well, I'm going to give up my time so that Mike can talk a little bit because Steve is here, and I want him to hear about this. Mike found an artifact in his storage area, which I didn't think still existed.
Are you springing another stealth topic on me?
I certainly didn't think that it was. I didn't think it was as much as what Mike says it is. So, and I know that Steve likes fan fiction. So Mike, tell Steve what you found from like the late 80s or early 90s.
Okay, freak out mode engaged.
Late 80s probably.
Okay.
Dirk and I were doing art and stuff at work when we were still in Planet Comics, and we came across this great idea to do a next generation spoof. And, we wanted to do something a little racier than, what the fans normally would expect. And so we did Star Whip, the porn generation. And Dirk did illustrations like Wesley Crusher as a sub. And I think, wasn't it Yar was the Dom?
Yes.
Dominator. So,
well, so far you nailed the cast.
I designed the Enterprise with vibrator nacelles zipping through space, and then we did a few other illustrations. And in the midst of my packing in New Mexico to come out here to Texas, I had found them. Because I usually normally when I do art, I keep it for a while, and then new stuff you improve, and then you toss. And I couldn't throw those away. I really couldn't. Plus, I mean, it's Dirk artwork. That's not my business to do that. That would be wrong. I can't do that. So yeah, when I head back during the summertime, I'll be heading back to New Mexico, and I will go on an excavation mission to find all that artwork, so that we can bring it to a select audience. I guess that's a good way to put that.
I'm feeling a Kickstarter campaign here.
Could be. We'd have to change the name a little bit more nowadays.
There's a few things that I think is interesting about this, which I didn't realize. Because first off, this is probably my first sequential work. It's probably the first thing that I did that was sequential. Also, I thought that it was much more in the development stage than what Mike says. Mike says we actually have some pages, and we got more done. We got more done than we thought.
So
So
Yeah,
there's actually something to look. It's not just sketches. It's actually like some pages
no, these
where
were
there's some
these were finished.
activity going
These
on.
were finished. Yeah, these were finished pages that I unearthed. So
Oh my
yeah,
god.
so we'll have to put something together.
So not everyone is going to get to see all of this, but anyway,
Well,
Hey, it better be
we
in my
knowing
inbox.
what-
really-
That's all I'm saying.
Just immediate.
We really didn't go above a hard R on it, from what I
right?
remember.
It's mostly
Is that a
yeah.
pun?
It's, it's not
Yeah,
A hard on.
it was a Green Giggles project.
Oh,
you know, we were going to
wow.
put these things out just like, you know, this other stuff, just to kind of, you know, make
Yeah.
copies of it and then sell it at conventions.
Oh,
And it probably,
yeah.
you know, honestly, probably would have sold like hotcakes. Let's be honest.
Here's the thing. Yeah,
The way you said that, probably would have
There's
sold
there's an easy way for us to update this too. You know,
What's that?
now as the Star Trek universe has expanded, so can we create a fuller, warm and steamier version of the universe as seen by
Certainly.
the
Hey,
Star
I
Trek?
think in this day and age, with the
Certainly.
open-mindedness of the fan base nowadays, I think it would probably
sure.
be a much more
Well-
plausible theory than even then.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even take a look at the Enterprise series. How many hot and steamy decontamination scenes do we see in that series?
Yeah.
A lot. There was a
Yeah,
lot of
I mean,
decontaminating
come on.
going on.
Hey,
There was a lot of hands-on treatment.
I think that's how I'm going to refer to it from now on.
we have the Lower Deck series now too, so
Right.
Oh, I love Lower Decks.
and it has some raunchy moments in it too. So
Oh yeah.
No,
Did you see the picture of the
I know we're talking about the Lower Decks, not Enterprise. Lower
Yeah.
Decks has some raunchy moments.
Oh, yeah.
From now on,
Did you see the photo they posted
contamination
online with Jerry O'Connell and all them dressed in their Starfleet uniforms? That all the voice actors were in their uniforms from the show at
And where was this?
some celebration. It was posted online about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, and so Jerry O'Connell and all the other actors, they got their Starfleet uniforms made, and they all posed in a group photo as their characters.
That's cool.
Wow.
So
That is cool.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll have to try and find.
I didn't know.
and
I'd
send
like
it
to
to you
see
guys.
that. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Mike, where can people find you online? I don't have a thing for you.
That's all right. You can always find me on Facebook under one of the many hundred Mike Kennedys that are listed, and I'm getting ready to change that. I just recently changed my Twitter handle, to the Art of Mike Kennedy. It's still Hunter Rose 621, and I'm just slowly updating all of this from our last conversation. So I've kind of tried to start reposting. I posted a lot of my print series that I've been working on that have not been printed yet. They're all done, and I've got 2 new pieces that are nearing completion process.
Cool.
I've got a Cthulhu piece coming up that I'm pretty happy with so far. And then there's my Witch in the Woods piece that I've been working on for a year. It's almost done, just with the line work, and then I'm still kind of considering out the color palette on it. The project with the kids at school. I'm gonna get that script written and ready for them this weekend. Still working on stuff. We started. I started working on the Black Cobra from Heroines Inc. I just wrote and did the layouts for the Prelude to set that up. So I'll start putting all that together. I think that'll be my big project for towards the end of the year. I'll try and get it done. But it's big. It's in 2 notebooks, and of course, 1 notebook's here. 1 notebook's 9.5 hours away. So that'll be part of the excavation project.
That is a problem.
It always does have. Distance has problems. The commutes suck. So, but yeah. So, and then hopefully this summer, I'm trying to get all the Celtic Knights stuff that's done, and there's a lot. I mean, we're talking close to between 300 and 400 pages of work is finished.
Oh
And
my
I just get to get it.
God.
I've redesigned the covers because we're in the midst of the 10-year anniversary of the book when it first started out. I redid a whole series of spot illustrations and turned them into covers to unify them, because I didn't realize that when Steven started setting everything up on Amazon that he did not do a single like Celtic Knights Presents. No, he just did all the different characters in their own titles, so nothing's collected in one area. So I'm gonna re-market the covers, and that way when you search on Amazon, you find them all in one spot instead of all over the freaking place.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of plan. If I work this out right, I may have the funds to come in and try and set it up, and then work on a Kickstarter later for something a little different. But that's pretty much it. And because I have
time.
It is. I do have a color Celtic Knights graphic novel that's about 2/3 done. I've just got to wrap up the last act of the book, and then get it lettered, and it'll be ready to rock and roll. So, I got a lot of stuff to get done over the summer before the school year starts again. And sadly, my contract in Irving is coming to the end. Just for certain reasons, I won't be there next year. So I have been interviewing again.
Oh wow!
Oh no!
So luckily, there's plenty of art teachers positions popping up all over the place.
I'm sure.
I just did an interview this morning, and we'll see how that one goes. And I just submitted another resume tonight with the Bureau of Indian Education for a school, and it pays really pretty damn well. It kind of breaks down to like around $30 an hour. So
Wow.
nothing to really complain about that. So
That's awesome.
I actually sent a resume to Tulsa schools, and they sent me back, and we're not gonna talk to you any further because you're already working for us. I'm like, I basically wrote a very nice "the hell I am" letter back to them. Who the hell this Mike Kennedy is, and why is he already got a job that I was trying to get?
Right.
So we'll see how that
Best of
plays
luck
out.
to you on that, sir.
All right, man.
Thanks. Yeah, they're interested. I've got the experience. That's the big thing. It's just I just haven't quite found the right shoe that fits yet.
Well, I'm glad you said Celtic Knights, because when we first talked about it, or when I first met you and you were talking about it, I went on a mad search for them. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to renew my search.
It was really tough. I didn't handle any of the distribution on the book. I just wanted to come in and be the artist and designer and everything. I didn't want to mess with the writing or anything. That was all Steven's job. And and of course, since Steven passing away, it got all thrown back to me. But luckily, Steven had a lot of foresight and wrote a lot of scripts. So
That's awesome.
I'll have Celtic Knights stuff, and then I've been writing a little bit. I'm trying to kind of sew in the holes between the books that have been published, and kind of tightening up the origins and everything. So hopefully, this summer I'll have a little more time to work on it.
Well,
be more prepared.
when you're ready, when you put the stuff out, we'll have you back on. I mean, we'll probably have you on before then, because it's fun having you.
Okay, well, sure, once or twice, you never know. That's right.
Right.
You need an obligatory old guy who likes comics.
Well, you got a lot of experience in all of this stuff, so it's good to have you here. All right, I got to put this comment up from Gigi. It says, Mr. Hooper, you have delivered a masterful performance this evening. Godspeed, ye merry gentlemen.
Wondering where DG was.
Every evening, Dirk. It's just a masterful, inspiring performances.
Is it though?
You're giving us your shanky performance to us tonight.
Wow. Speaking of Steve Shank, You're up, man.
Okay, you can find me, like it says there, at 9one8art.com. That's my source of all the wondrous and fantastic projects I've worked on in the past, and I've actually got some that I need to add to it shortly. It's my online portfolio, both of my artwork and my photography. And then I've also got my Instagram account, Shanktify Yourself. That is basically just a massive wandering of nothingness. So enjoy that. It's much like my Twitter, which is at Shanktification. I also have my other Instagram account, which basically focuses on my aviation photography. Top Gun be damned. At 9, it's again just like my URL there. It's 918, except it's AV spotting. So hit me up there, hit me up at Shanktify Yourself, and let's just have a wonderful life.
Yeah. All right, Walt, you're up, man.
As you can see right there underneath my name here, this is where you can find me on Facebook and see some of my artwork, or hit me up for some, if you want me to do some commissions, I'm open to that right now. You can also find me on Twitch at Gatchaman_1. You can also find me on Instagram at Gatchaman_1. You can catch my whatstudioart.blogspot. And you can go to my Zazzle store listed right there. You can get some really cool, crazy stuff that I've done for t-shirts and mugs.
Yeah. All right.
Mugs.
Ugh.
I need to send you my Zazzle store too, Dirk.
Yeah.
I always
Let's get it
forget
all
that
on
I
there.
have. I always forget that I have one.
Get it all on there.
I'm still a fan of the nunchuck shirt, Steve.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a good seller. I like that.
That is a good seller.
It's just a shirt that shows a pair of nunchucks and it says, "I kind of want to nunchuck you."
Wow. That's a classic. All right, here's my stuff. I'm going to go through 3 things really quick, I think. I'm going to try if I can find it. Okay. The first thing is, this is a portrait that I did of an author named Jane Boone, who did she did an article for something called Sweet Gwendolyn Gin. And so this was an illustration that accompanied her article. So that was I got published along with a gin company, and I got published along with someone who is a traditionally published author, which is really cool. So that is that piece.
That is a really great. I love the detail in that jacket.
It's a
dude.
nice
You
piece.
did
That's a
an
good
amazing job.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This piece I did just the other day, and the reason why I want to show it to you is because the 2 people that were involved in it gave me great reviews. One of the guy who commissioned the piece said, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much. This is better than what I was expecting. Thank you so much. I'm very pleased with what you've done, and you've captured her essence wonderfully. Love the design choice. Thank you so very much for your efforts. Very satisfied customer." And then she said, when she got it, which was on Sunday, she said, "Just want to say how much I love this. Amazing job. I was so happy when he sent it to me. Shocked it's perfect." So if you're interested in having me commission some work for you, you can look at the stuff that I have running below there. I'll do something like that for you. That was not based on a photo. That was basically kind of all from my imagination there. And then finally, what I want to show you is this piece right here, which is a little bit more adult than usually what I show. But what I want to say is, if you are an adult and you're interested, I have a new print store, and it's this right here. It's imprint.com, profile Dark Hooper. And what's amazing about this print store is that it does archival paper, archival printing. It's museum quality stuff. You can get it in multiple sizes, and it is invite only. So you have to get invited to this thing. It's like super high quality, and I've selected a few pieces. I just did this over the weekend, and there that is. You can
Cool.
get it. You can get it as a print at that thing. Adults only, please. If you're a kiddo, go somewhere else. Because that's the cleanest of the the pieces. It's definitely for adults.
So you should sell an accessory pack with black sensor blocks.
An accessory pack with what?
Sensor blocks.
Sensor
the
blocks.
younger
Sensor
kids.
blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So when they get when they get it in, they get the print, and then their parents will block and stick on because they won't come off.
It's good. It's a good idea, Mike.
Oh.
Sell,
I tried.
Yeah,
sell
question.
crazy stuff. I have a question. Here it comes. Is the young lady there having a dental procedure? I believe that. Terry Gilliam said it is the artist's responsibility to ask questions, and it is the audience responsibility to answer them. Therefore, I have asked my question, and I leave it to you to answer.
Ponder right there at the end.
How about that?
Philosophical.
How about that? It's the more you know.
Well, okay then. well, alrighty then.
That's what I got, folks. I knew that this would be kind of a crazy evening. I didn't know it would run this long, but you put the four of us together, then you're gonna,
I was about to say, if you could
You
shut me
put
up,
any of us.
get out of
You
here
put
on
any of
time.
us together. You put
That's
any
true.
of us.
Yeah,
together.
we just all chatting.
Hey, Dirk,
I had
pop that link I just sent you.
I had stealth topics and all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh. Hang on one moment, please. Talk amongst yourself.
Wormer. From a few weeks ago.
We're back onto that again, are we?
Deep cut. If you're
I am dying to get over there. and
regular watching,
participate in
you know
that.
what I'm talking about.
There it is. There's the nunchuck shirt.
I kind of want the nunchuck you t-shirt.
Let's see, just I guess let me see if I can share it just real quick. Sorry.
It's one of my favorites.
You're okay, man.
I'm not well.
You're going to bring up the deal? I mean, we're already this far over.
Might as well.
You guys are the ones
Might
who
as
have
well.
to get up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is, folks. Let's just put it full screen. How about that? I kind of want to nunchuck you.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's cool.
I see why that's a good seller.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I don't even know where the inspiration for that came from. I was just like, I might have been at work
Oh my
that
God,
day.
is Ronnie still up? Wait a minute.
Those
Stop
are
the
those
press.
are the best ones. Those are the best ones.
Please stop the press. Ronnie is still
Past
with us.
10.
Dude.
How is that possible? Ronnie turns into a pumpkin at
We've,
about 8:45 in the evening.
we've got to get off so he can go to bed.
Oh my God, for real. I mean, we
Yeah.
have kept Ronnie up
Yep.
all this time. Thanks to Ronnie for showing up. Thanks to
Yay,
everyone else
thank you,
who
Ronnie.
chimed in tonight. We had a good turnout, Gigi and Brian James.
Hey, I
And
was
all
happy
of
to
the
see
rest.
Todd Ratliff pop back on. That was really cool.
There you go. Ronnie says I didn't
Someone's
You are in
got
Oak-
to, right?
feel
You
like
are-
he doesn't.
You are in Oklahoma.
I feel
Oh,
like he
yeah,
does
there's-
not do math, but anyway.
Wow. Wow.
For some reason, that doesn't seem to match with what I know, but interesting, Ronnie. Interesting.
He met methylchloroethylcyanone that's in his shampoo. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
There you go.
Thanks
Awesome.
to everyone who
Best
chimed
contact
in
high.
this evening. You guys really, make these things special by chiming in. It's very important that you do so. Thanks to Mike for hanging out and talking about old
Thanks.
times and about porn comics.
Yeah, like I'm some sort of I was an expert at one time. That's a different story too.
I was about to say, I think just because of Dirk's fawning on you, and it sounds like reasonably so, or rightfully so, I think that once I get it designed and built and produced, I think I might award you my first Shanky.
Yes.
Yay!
Mike is the-
I mean, not only that, but the influence that you're having on all future artists as well. I admire
Yeah.
art teachers. If not for them, there would be no art. So,
Yeah.
So true.
I absolutely admire what you do, and thank you very much for
And
that.
you gotta they gotta have some kind of encouragement. It's not,
Right.
it's not like the old days where parents were, would push. Now they're like pushing them away,
Yeah.
from traditional art, and And I've got a not a huge group, but a small group of
Almost-
really good artists, students. So
Almost every artist goes through a period of time where they have to choose whether they're going to do this silly childish thing, which is create art, or they're going to be an adult and they're going to do adult things. And unless they are encouraged, they will get away from it and they will never go back to do artwork.
Yeah.
No one wakes up and is good at art. No one does that. That's why the thing where people, and I always know where it's coming from and I appreciate it, but the people who say, you're so talented. Well, talent implies that like you woke up one day and that shit was amazing. Like you just picked up a brush and everything you touched was incredible. I have, as good as I am right now, which is debatable, every bit of skill that I have acquired over time has been done brushstroke by brushstroke, researching stuff, trying to get better, looking at it, assessing what you're doing, trying to do something better the next time. What I have is not talent. What I have is a skill.
It's work.
That absolutely has to be built, and to do it, you have to have teachers, and you have to have people who support you.
Mentors.
That says what you do is good, but it could be better.
Right.
And because if you don't, you'll never
with automobiles.
You'll never do it. You'll never do it. You walk away from it, and it'll be done forever.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and a lot of people get frustrated if they decide to go back to it years and years later. When they start drawing again, they only pick up where they left off.
That's right. You got to start all over again.
For a lot of
you actually have to go back
because,
if I don't draw for a week, I have to retrace stuff. I have to relearn stuff.
Oh yeah,
get that looseness, get that creativity going again.
Yeah, there's that 3 years ago when I was sick and I didn't draw for 2 months, which people were freaking out. When I got back and started drawing again, it was you sense a certain amount of frustration. Yeah. That through osmosis or from whatever thing, you didn't absorb new information while you were not. So
certainly not.
And
unless you're pouring through books and stuff and taking courses and whatever.
Oh yeah, you always got to have some kind of stimulation. You got to practice. Exactly, Steve.
Practice and evaluation. Michelle says, "Great show tonight. Thank you, Michelle, and thanks for all of your comments and participating and everything else."
Michelle, I expect my Doctor Who bookcase
photo.
Whenever
you got to put a photo of that out there at the very least, so you can.
She actually did. She tagged me.
Oh, she did. Okay, I mean,
good
to know exactly what's going on there because it's substantial.
It's impressive.
Ronnie says you guys just woke up with the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Stop. Just stop.
Ronnie's getting punch drunk now. He's so tired. He's so tired.
Hey, isn't that cute? But it's wrong.
I think the actual statement there was that he just said I should have just woke up with an unbearable weight.
Oh.
Now that might be true. That might be closer to the truth. Hey, thanks to everyone who watched us tonight, everyone who will watch us. Please remember, and Mike's gone.
Oh.
Please remember to like and share this wherever you see this. This will go to YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. You can still like and share it and put comments on it. It will live forever online. Please help us out with that sort of stuff.
And if you're on YouTube, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube and tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell people you don't like. Ronnie says, I can't really focus on you guys.
And the
He's
first
losing consciousness.
The first comment should be, I think these guys just woke up with the unbearable weight of greatness.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We got to wrap this up at some point, and that point is now. Thanks to everyone for chiming in. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to Walt. Until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.